and you've got some other sports, NBA, NHL, if you're into that kind of thing, and then you got some NFL, and oh, Aaron Rodgers is out. How are you this morning? It is a yeah. He Aaron Rodgers is a very strange like character. He's quirky fun though, right? You agree? There's quirky bad and there's quirky fun, and Aaron Rodgers is quirky fun, right? Like he's like what is it? Discount double check, and he Jeopardy, and but he is a very strange person each and every time you see him in front of the spotlight. But this one, and I sadly, I'm gonna admit, the reason this really caught my attention is did y'all eat both of y'all? Jen, you might not be into this quite like I am. Did you see how much the point spread moved yesterday because of Aaron Rodgers and the news that he will be out because he is now tested positive for COVID? Patrick, did you see it at least? They were playing, if you're unfamiliar with this, they're playing the Chiefs this weekend. Big game. I mean, and honestly, like if you were Fox, if you're Fox, this is one of what do you think, Patrick? The 5 games you highlight on your schedule all year long? Like Packers, Aaron Rodgers first, Patrick Mahomes. This is one of the games you really highlight, and you highlight it and you say, "Oh yeah, this is a big deal. Let's make sure that maybe in the Fox promos, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is not having a good year. The Chiefs defense couldn't stop the three of us from being out there and scoring touchdowns. Probably Odell Beckham Jr. would even catch a pass or two. And instead, Aaron Rodgers is out now. Jordan Love. That is an interesting part of it. Jordan Love will make his first start ever, and that's kind of entertaining. But to answer the question here, it was a pick 'em. The game was a pick 'em prior to the news coming out. The game will be played in Kansas City. It's a 4:25 Fox game Sunday afternoon. I'm already doing that thing on Thursday where I reference tomorrow as Saturday. That's a good start. I just right there, right in front of me, just like how many days is it till Saturday? 2. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, that's what I need. Brian Edwards is expected to join us. I text him. Jen text me. I text Brian Edwards. He sent me his list of games. Let's see at 8:20 what happens. But Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider, will join us at 8:20 this morning. Kerry Tharp, Darlington Raceway president, will join us at 8:40, and coming up at 7:30, JoJo English, who was Patrick. You don't remember JoJo English, but JoJo English was a huge. I was a huge JoJo English fan growing up for South Carolina. Was one of the first players I remember. He'll join us at 7:30 this morning. Now the head coach at Lower Richland, and that's kind of our lineup for today. If you want to join us, 803-404-6100. How you can do so? Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. As always, you can join us via the live stream. Several people already up and ready to go. Lester, Travis, RL, Robin, Anthony. Oh, the live stream is already just rolling along. DC, welcome in this morning. Hope everybody's doing great and up and at 'em on a Thursday, a rainy Thursday morning. Be safe out there if you're getting up, getting the kids to school. Patrick, I mentioned that line for the Packers and the Chiefs. Pick 'em yesterday has now been moved to the Packers are +8 was the last I saw. So you're right. an 8-point swing based on no Aaron Rodgers to Sunday for the Packers versus the Chiefs.
I guess that's right. It almost doesn't feel like enough. I mean, I guess nobody knows what to expect from Jordan Love, but based off how little we've heard about him since he's been drafted basically from Packers camp, I don't think they expect him to play great. But this could be a very massive opportunity for him to just national audience. I assume this is America. You said Fox, so I assume this is America's game of the week. Is it it's not a 1 p.m. game, is it?
4:25.
So this is probably America's game of the week. It'll get a national audience. It's a big moment for him to potentially have a coming out party.
So that was the major national news yesterday was the Aaron Rodgers situation. If you click on ESPN this morning, it is the headline topic. Thankfully, yesterday kind of not newsy. The other major news, and Patrick, we discussed it briefly. The extremely unfortunate news, and I watched ESPN yesterday, was more information coming out on the Henry Ruggs situation, and the more that has come out, the more I say unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but driving 156 miles an hour, the blood alcohol level 2 times the legal limit. This is going to shine a bad light on
156 miles an hour. That's insane.
Most people can't go under 56 miles an hour in their car.
Yeah. Very. Not something that we want to wake up and talk about at 6:12 on a Thursday morning. We are a lighthearted show. We are professionally chaotic and professionally sloppy, and that's the way we prefer to run this program and wake you up and talk about fun stuff and donuts and coffee and stuff. But I think you have to mention this, and unfortunately, Patrick, I was watching ESPN yesterday. It was interesting. You had a very good take on it. I thought that aligned very much with the ESPN former NFL players, Keyshawn Johnson, other people yesterday who just baffled by Henry Ruggs, who, by all accounts, I don't know if one car wreck makes you a bad person, but was a really good kid, had really done something for he and his family by getting to the NFL, being a first-round pick, and this just, again, unfortunate. I don't know if unfortunate is the word, but certainly as more information has come out about the Henry Ruggs situation with the NFL, the uglier it looks.
Yeah, I mean, it looked bad, I guess, from the very beginning, where you're just like, what are you doing? But when the numbers come out, I mean, who drives 156 miles an hour on a busy road in Las Vegas? That's just,
and then twice the legal limit on top of that.
Twice the speed limit, twice the BAC limit. Just not a good combination, and
terrible choices.
Really, 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 really dumb decision, and it's going to be hard for him to stay out of jail, I assume, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the rules apply differently to people with a lot of money, but dude, there's no explaining away what you just did.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very honest about our radio program. We do not consider ourselves a serious radio program. We don't like to come in here and bring up the negative and do that, but it is something that you have to mention. And the more that this story developed yesterday, you unfortunately couldn't turn your head away from it. The Aaron Rodgers story obviously was all over the news yesterday, but Henry Ruggs and what is happening in Las Vegas in this story, very, very unfortunate. So we need to address it. I mean, we should address it, talk about it. Certainly from an NFL standpoint, it's something that will be discussed throughout the weekend. Again, in a weekend that's going to be very entertaining, Patrick. I'm interested in college football. There is a massive game that no longer is massive, LSU and Alabama. We'll get into some college football tonight. Batten down the hatches. A Thursday night thriller in Lafayette, Georgia State at Louisiana. You mentioned the NFL game, the Colts and the Jets. It is there's your Thursday night football lineup. Georgia State. Now, Sean Elliott is coaching, so I will be slightly tuned in. I might actually be a little bit more tuned in. But I think the more interesting thing for me tonight is where I started and where we'll go here in about an hour and 15 minutes. South Carolina basketball will take the court in an free exhibition tonight. So you, the family, the kids, I don't think the support monkeys can go. You can't take the support animals with you tonight to the exhibition game.
That's tragic.
But yeah, very sad.
We're 5 days away from, I think 5 days away from officially the start of college
We are
basketball
also
season.
not a program that does math, Patrick. We do not. I don't
I
do
think
math.
Tuesday is the official start of college basketball season, right?
Yeah.
You are correct about that. Tuesday, we just are not a program that does math. We prefer on this program that the younger
Right.
audience call in and do the adding and the subtracting for us. But no, next Tuesday is the start of college basketball season. South Carolina will play USC Upstate next Tuesday. But tonight, and again, coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes, JoJo English, former South Carolina standout, Midland's product. I'm as a former ESPN basketball recruiting analyst and a person who's grown up here, love the local products who stay here and play here. Big fan of that. Huge fan of that. I don't like the kids who, I shouldn't say I don't like the kids. That sounds very bad. My daughter actually made fun of me because I think I phrased that in a sentence the other day. But I don't like the kids that transfer out and don't win a state championship here or build a legacy as a player here in the Midlands. But JoJo English was a guy who grew up right here in the Midlands, went on to a great career at South Carolina. He is now coaching at Lower Richland. We'll catch up with him in about an hour and 15 minutes. But Patrick, we'll spend some time this morning certainly talking about South Carolina's basketball program as they get ready for a new season. You've kind of been on top of it. And you were here last week. It was a week ago today. Frank Martin joined us in studio. And, you've been kind of on top of it the last few years, kind of saying, hey, I'm not going to promote this team. I'm interested to see them. This team in particular, this edition of South Carolina, very, very different. Something that we're very interested to see.
It's the most, I think people have the least, not the least expectations, but the least know what to expect, right? Like almost every face we're going to see this year, or if you go to every face you're going to see basically when you go to the scrimmage tonight is going to be new. I mean, how many players on the court? Wilden Sylvek, Trayvon Minott, who else will you have actually seen play that will be on the court tonight with Couisnard and Keyshawn Bryant out?
Javon Benson. There's 7 new players. There's what, 13? There's 13. Okay, there's 13 scholarship players that forms a basketball team. 2 walk-ons to get to 15. So if you're telling me there's 9 new players, there's 4 returners. Levesque,
Keyshawn,
and as you mentioned, Keyshawn Bryant, Jermaine Couisnard, per Frank Martin, will not play tonight. If it was an actual game, one that counted in the standings, they could play. They will not play, which I actually like. I just from the standpoint of going to see new players and seeing everything, I'll probably go for a half and check it out and get involved. But I'm ready. You being a guy who grew up in the D.C. area, followed Maryland basketball, you're familiar with Georgetown. I think both of us are kindred spirits in the fact that we love college basketball and certainly excited to get the season going and see a college basketball season that involves fans in the stands.
That's the big thing. It'll be a normal season. Last year just left such a bad taste in South Carolina fans' mouths just because team wasn't good. Frank said it. He said they didn't have an identity. We had noticed that, watching some big time games, the crowd was empty, but you'd see the sideline really being a part of it. The players were really invested. We didn't see that from South Carolina. It was kind of lackadaisical on the bench. Guys sitting down for long periods of time on the bench, which I think a lot of coaches had made sure, like it was almost a mandate. You don't sit down on the bench. You need to bring the energy. And there was just none of that coming out of the South Carolina program. So, yeah, I'm hoping that people will be excited this year. CLA will be packed. We'll have
So if you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100, how you can do so on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. See some of you weighing in on the Henry Ruggs situation. A lot of thoughts there that kind of align with what Patrick was saying yesterday, that smarter decisions probably should have been made. If you want to join us this morning, Artia, Lester, Travis, again, RL, DC, Lauren, a bunch of you, Robin, everybody up with us. And Adam, again, we got a busy schedule this morning. JoJo English here in about an hour and 10 minutes. Brian Edwards. There has been text messages on a Wednesday night. We believe he will be joining us at 8:20 this morning. And Kerry Tharp set to join us at 8:40 this morning for our picks. Jen, where do we stand? Somebody win last week? I'm very good at my job. I really felt there. Jen is reaching for her sheet that she keeps diligently on top of all the other stuff. It's like again, professionally messy around here. What do we got? I like throwing it to Jen when she's not ready at all. It's just totally not ready at all. But if you're on the live stream, you saw Jen totally unprepared. She is for the S. What do we got there? Okay, good. So we got that. So again, Kerry Tharp joining us 8:40 this morning. We'll have Brian Edwards, we believe, at 8:20. We can only tell you that we believe we'll have him. We don't know the last 2 weeks. It's ended up being Friday. And again, I'm excited about JoJo English because we'll talk some basketball. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. And oh yeah, South Carolina does play a football game this weekend, Patrick, against Florida. You can see Patrick. He's got his Carolina sweatshirt on as he is up there in Nashville. We'll talk about that. The Gamecocks taking on Florida this coming weekend. Right now, about an 18-point underdog. So we'll get into that a little bit as we head toward that game, 7:30 Saturday night, Williams-Brice Stadium. The quarterback situation, Patrick, will continue to address that in regards to what South Carolina will do and how it would impact them.
Both teams, really.
Very true. Very true. Both teams in an interesting position. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Yes, I'm working on it. The live stream. Patrick is our in-studio engineer. And Patrick, I feel like I'm just messing up the live stream.
No, we'll get it this break. We'll get it figured out.
We'll get it during the break. You can join us. You can go to the YouTube page, 107.5 The Game. Check us out on the live stream. You can go to the Facebook page, 107.5 The Game on Facebook. You can go to Twitter. You get the point. There's a lot of ways for you to interact with us today. If you hear something that you agree with, you don't agree with, if you want to interject your opinion, you're more than welcome to do that. We like everybody joining the show, and we would like you to add whether it's good, bad, or criticism or positivity. We don't mind it. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right.
Dude, what do we got?
There's two things. One, I think me and Jen are not in program 3, but you can also just change that dial to program 1. On mic 2, yeah, you can just change it to program 1.
Instead of program 3?
Yeah.
Program. At the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program, they cover more federal employees, retirees, and their families.
Sorry, Artia. All I was saying is that nobody won the NASCAR picks. Kerry came in the best this past week, so that was it. But
accidents.
Yeah, that should work. So we'll just make sure that we mute this one for every break, and we'll mute everyone but the early game.
Serious injury
during segments. So I'll mute myself too, and everything coming out of program 1, everything that goes over the air should come on the live stream.
there's a lot of punching things in and out. Like I record traffic updates for a couple of their stations in the building, so I have to take it out of program 1 and 3 so that it doesn't go on the live stream and it doesn't go on the air, but I have to keep it in 2 so it records a lot of
Yeah.
that back and forth stuff. So it that's why sometimes I don't get it pop back into 3 or something for the live stream. So just getting used to all that.
We gotta. Is Bill still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah,
I'm
he's there.
looking. So I'm trying to edit.
Just don't turn your. Make sure your mic is off during breaks. Don't talk into the mic like we would do.
Yeah, the mic is off. What I was messing around. The avatar you can edit. So I think I got to do it through that computer. I can edit the avatar for the early game that's picking up the audio, and you can just make it. I can put it where it's the. I can put it where it's just the logo there.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I need to do it. I got to do it off the computer. Dunkin' Donuts was ready to go this morning. They had 3 people there at 5:30.
You think it was my text?
I was wondering. I mean, there was a new girl. We cut up. I told her tomorrow's Donut Friday. They better be on their A game.
There you go.
I don't think they took me seriously.
Well, supposedly the franchisee will be reaching out to me. Whatever. Because, my husband's gone where he'll go and try to get like 4 dozen or something on the way because he works in Orangeburg. So he'll get it like for some employees. He said, I can go at 6, 6:30. It's like, no donuts. It's like, that isn't the name of the business, right?
How many did you say Darren will try to get
Like 4 dozen.
for everybody?
Well, I mean, yeah, to be
I mean, if it's 4 dozen for you and Darren, we got to then.
yeah, no.
A bigger discussion needs to be had.
I never see one of those. I don't think he does either. He, tries to take care of the guys.
There you go. How's that, Patrick?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, look at us.
Much better.
Thank you, Troy. I prefer no one take me seriously. If you're being taken seriously, you're not a fun person. And you're just, I don't think people understand how much I liked waking up and walking downstairs and doing the show from my living room as opposed to getting up and driving in.
It's almost like you're having to work
I do not.
a real job.
There is about a 35-minute difference in sleep time. All the people, they're like, when are you going back in studio? When are you going back in studio?
We're making him act like a grown-up.
I don't like you people right now.
It's only 5:30 here right now.
Yeah, but you're in a. How's that furniture situation up there coming?
Not good.
Hadn't got it fixed this week?
No, she bought the couch 3 months ago. They still haven't brought it.
Do I know?
She bought the couch 3 months ago.
And it still hadn't come in?
That's crazy.
Wow, I call that company.
I got to drive all day after this.
Which way you go? Through Knoxville? You go through Knoxville and Asheville, or you go through Atlanta?
Knoxville, Nashville. I'll never
That drive from Nashville to Knoxville is one of the more miserable drives.
It's just boring.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's like that drive, and honestly, the drive from like Charlotte to Raleigh on what interstate is that? I don't go that way anymore because I quit because I started going up now to go to Raleigh to see my sister. I go through Pinehurst and go the back roads there, US 1, I believe.
I've gone one before. That's at least has personality.
speaking of Pinehurst, got the Pinehurst hat on this morning. But yeah, that drive from like Charlotte to Raleigh on that interstate, whichever interstate that
Is
is
that 85?
brutal. Is it 85?
May not be.
It's awful. It's depressing too.
I used to take 81 all the way.
The times I've gone to Nashville
Yes,
now, I go through Atlanta and go up through Chattanooga and all that. And that's a lot better. It is a lot better drive, Patrick.
It's not bad. It's just you have to go through Atlanta. But yeah, Augusta to Atlanta on I-20, and I've had to do that at like 1 in the morning. Ugh.
85 to 40, you said? Craig, I don't mind the I-20 from Augusta to Atlanta drive. There's that one stretch that doesn't have, what is it, about 70 miles that doesn't have gas stations, which is crazy. All right, turn this off.
Need a sticky note. You're up.
Wednesday, December 8th, Colonial Life Arena, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It begs the question, are you ready for Christmas?
I watched a Christmas movie yesterday.
My
Actually,
daughter is the 12-year-old is ready for Christmas music. She on Tuesday night was very adamant that it's time for Christmas music.
I'm fully agree. Here, finish your liner and then we'll discuss.
Sure.
This.
Okay. Yeah. Work.
I
That's
have
right.
a lot
That's
to
right.
say about
Do
this
work.
subject.
Do work. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Wednesday, December 8th, Colonial Life Arena. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Right now, you can actually purchase tickets. They are $25 today and tomorrow. So you need to get out and purchase tickets right now. It is the 25th anniversary of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra first album. How about that, Patrick? You can go right now, Thursday and Friday. That's today and tomorrow. Tickets are only $25 right now. You can do that. Go purchase tickets at Colonial Life Arena. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Oh,
Yeah.
Anthony weighs in. You see this on the live stream? Anthony, I'm with Anthony here. Mariah Carey already playing this out. She is the queen of Christmas. She is, without a doubt, the queen of Christmas.
100%. She's made so much money. I'll look it up again, but every year I see the number that she's made from All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it's absurd. But we went to 2 stores yesterday. We went to a Home Goods / TJ Maxx and a Nordstrom Rack, and both of them are fully decked out in Christmas stuff. Like the full Christmas setups are already out. I think they were playing Christmas music. I don't go to stores very often, so I don't know if that has long since started or when they really put out Christmas apparel or Christmas holiday decorations and all that stuff. But it for sure got me in the Christmas mood. And I watched 2 Christmas movies yesterday.
Oh, wow. Now, where the hospital where my daughter works in Augusta, she said she sent a picture and huge Christmas tree in the lobby. It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, it made me want to, I guess, I don't know. It made me want to skip Thanksgiving. I'm fully ready
Whoa,
for, I
let's
love
not go
Thanksgiving.
too
I
far
love
there,
Thanksgiving,
big guy.
but that
Let's
is too
but
far,
what were the Christmas movies? Give us the Christmas movies.
Well, one was Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if that's fully a Christmas movie,
Yeah.
but the other one was what was the name? It's a Disney Plus movie with Anna Kendrick, where she like is Santa's daughter. It's called Noelle. It was okay. We enjoyed it. It was like a Disney Plus original. I think it was when they released Disney Plus and they made like The Mandalorian and a couple other shows. I think this was their exclusive Disney Plus exclusive Christmas movie. So if you have Disney Plus, it's worth the watch.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Yeah, we still do need to get through Thanksgiving, and it's crazy that it's only the 4th. I feel like November's already dragging, maybe because I have something I'm looking forward to this month in Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Patrick, back to what you mentioned last week about Thanksgiving and getting ready for Thanksgiving or the cooking for Thanksgiving. I'm thinking an oysters and deep, roasting oysters and then deep frying a turkey is the way to go this Thanksgiving. Is that acceptable as oysters? Because oyster stuffing. Is it stuffing? Is it? Am I right on that? Is it oyster stuffing or is it
Oyster dressing is
dressing? Yes.
Dressing,
Is it?
yeah.
There's a difference, right? There's a difference between dressing and stuffing.
I thought stuffing was literally you're stuffing it, and dressing is just baked. I could be wrong,
Patrick,
but that's
you know, weigh in on
my
I
that.
think there's
understanding.
technically a difference, but I've never called it dressing.
Oh yeah, that's all it is.
I always thought it was just the name, but then I learned recently. I thought that it technically is different things. We always had stuffing. We never had. No one in my family would ever call it dressing.
803-404-6100 on the live stream or on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Is there a difference between dressing and stuffing? That's all we're asking here as we gear up. I mean, it is what it's 3 weeks. Is that, am I right on this? Today's Thursday. It's 3 weeks from today, right?
yeah.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
11th, 18th, 25th. Yeah, it's 3 weeks. Thanksgiving
believe.
is 3 weeks from
So,
today.
and the way the supply chain's going, you probably should have your stuff now. If you don't, you may not have.
It's a good point.
Thanks.
Going
That's
right
another
after the show.
reason why it feels more Christmassy, because you have to buy all the stuff now. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good point too. We're all very sharp on this show. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 weeks. 3 weeks from today is Thanksgiving. Do you have your turkey? And again, I'll go back and ask that 803-404-6100 on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Stuffing and dressing, is it indeed different? You're right, Patrick. Stuffing obviously is what you put in the turkey, but do people do that? Is that part of it?
No, I mean we never put that in the turkey. We always ate on the side, like anyone would eat dressing. We just call it stuffing. I don't know why I didn't think it was anything about putting it in a turkey. We are having a stuffed turkey this year, though.
John says oyster dressing and giblet gravy. Stuffing is for Yankees. Is it? Big question here. Anonymous
I mean,
texter.
stuffing is not inside the bird, though. Like maybe technically that's what it is supposed to be, but like what? I don't even know what that means. We never put stuffing inside the bird.
No, a lot of people do.
This is a good
Why
one.
couldn't you put dressing inside the bird? What's the?
Yeah, that's
same
what I'm
thing.
saying.
What's the
Is there a
difference?
difference between dressing and stuffing?
I think it's the same stuff. I think maybe the name originally came from
What you
because
put in the bird?
stuffing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
probably agitating people right
So,
now.
yeah,
Probably.
that's not really answering the question.
Anonymous texter, I like this. He
Colin.
says stuffing is what you put in the bird. Dressing you bake in the oven. Same ingredients or whatever you want to make out. So it is the same.
Okay,
That's what I thought.
It's the same thing. Todd just said stuffing is just dressing that you put in turkey. Okay, it's the same
Yeah.
thing.
I'm glad everybody's joining in. Yeah, 3 weeks from today, Thanksgiving. So get fired. You know what that means?
You know what? So many people just eat stuffing in the North. Everyone just eats the stuffing on the side. No one calls it stuffing because it goes in the bird. We just call it.
I think
stuffing
I'm just
'cause
saying that's
what
where
we
the name
call it.
originated.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then just people call it either. You know.
I think we're
I thought
gonna.
it was stuffing because that's just what you stuffed yourself with because it fills you up quickly. It's all bread.
I think it's a different what you're stuffing.
I think we're gonna. So oysters.
Because you're stuffing
Oysters
your face with it because it's so good.
we're gonna deep fry. Lauren and I think are gonna deep fry a turkey, but I think we're gonna do oysters as well. Is oysters acceptable on oysters?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
Like oysters and a deep fried turkey. Like it's just we're gonna do Thanksgiving on Wednesday night with the kids. We're gonna do an untraditional Thanksgiving, but I think we're gonna just hang out on Thursday. But one of the discussions we're having is oysters and turkey.
We're just doing a full-on Cajun Thanksgiving. My dad sent me the list. It's it's a turducken stuffed with seafood jambalaya, and then 3 different types of boudin, alligator, crawfish, and shrimp. So I mean, we're just going to be all seafood basically.
A lot of you.
'Cause my parents don't have a kitchen or furniture yet. They're going to be in a rental house, so we're just ordering everything from New Orleans.
Scott weighs in. Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Stuffing is bread based. Dressing is made with cornbread.
I have heard that too.
Uh,
We don't make our
Informative.
cornbread.
I love our audience when we get
I
informative
know.
here. Again, Will says stuffing is made out of a box. Dressing is usually homemade with real.
Yeah, that's not
Cornbread?
true. That's not
no
true.
cornbread. Just for us, it's bread and sage.
Hot sauce Ross is
That's
just
that's stuffing can be made from scratch too.
hot sauce Ross is just being disgusting. He said, "Are y'all ready for some vinegar pie?"
Oh gosh, here we go.
Know what that is?
is
Sounds
vinegar pie?
disgusting.
Talked about that last year.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't remember yesterday's show. I definitely don't remember last year.
Oh yeah.
803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Again, coming up in about an hour, less than an hour, JoJo English, former South Carolina basketball player and current Lower Richland basketball coach. I'm interested in catching up with him, Patrick. You don't remember JoJo. He was late 80s, early 90s, kind of part of the transition. He, to me, was part of the transition that was South Carolina basketball in a very odd time. Went from George Felton, who I think would have done really good things here for South Carolina basketball, but had some personal issues that got in the way, and the athletic department. It's interesting, if you, Patrick, you're not familiar with George Felton, and older listeners can kind of relate back to George Felton in South Carolina basketball and what could have been a guy that tied in the Frank McGuire era, played basketball here. I really honestly believe South Carolina basketball, if they'd have found a way to work with George Felton, and again, I was a younger person, so maybe I don't understand all of the issues, but if they'd have found a way, I think South Carolina basketball is in an entirely different spot because he would have tied in the Frank McGuire era with, and was recruiting, by and large, was recruiting the Midlands extremely well and bringing the Midlands back to South Carolina basketball, which Frank Martin is had an extremely difficult time with because of different things, I believe. But the bottom line is, JoJo was a big part of the transition from George Felton to Steve Newton, which eventually ended up in the hands of Eddie Fogler and went on to some of the better years of South Carolina basketball. I'll be interested to catch up with him because, Patrick, we kind of talked about it tonight. We're going to see a new team. It's a new year. Obviously, last year did not go the way it was expected, but this basketball team, there is a level of, I don't know if excitement is the right word, but there's definitely a level of intrigue around them that you want to watch.
I think intrigue is the right word. I was thinking about that too. I mean, I think there is a level of excitement though, and maybe they just get the benefit of the doubt because now it's just a whole new season and there's going to be fans in the stands. I think there's a whole new level of excitement for college basketball as a whole. I don't know if the students will be out at games or if it's going to translate to tickets sold, because that's always been a disappointment for me, is just seeing the student section, having, like you said, grown up in Maryland, and there's a waiting list and people camped outside for tickets and all that fun stuff. And I think there's a level of excitement. I unfortunately think that Frank's just behind the eight ball to an extent that you have to earn support here. Like if you lose a couple games and students are just going to check out, that's how it's always been. I've never felt like the student section was impressive for just like a middle of the road game. And if they lose a couple games, people sell basketball season real quick, or say that we're a women's basketball school or any of these number of things. So I think there is a level of excitement from the beginning. I think that can fade pretty quickly, like it has for football season. If you're not winning games, and people will lose that excitement pretty quickly. So no, I'm excited. The names are interesting. I mean, when you look at all the transfers, like you can point to a way that this will shape together and they can be a very formidable team. But you can also see a way where, 9 new guys and they just don't mesh and it never gets going, and where we just never figure it out and this team goes without an identity again.
Yeah, I think that's what, I don't want to say what scares us, but certainly that is part of it. You wonder what this team will be. Frank Martin's talked about how he likes defensively where they are at early on, that it fits more of his personality, more of his style. Patrick, I thought we had a very interesting conversation with him that really has not been talked about enough when you talk about Frank Martin and his basketball teams at South Carolina, and that is the role of the point guard and point guard play. And I forget last week if it was part of the live stream. If you missed it, and you can go back and watch it, Frank joined us at about 8:30 on Wednesday morning, and we did about 25 minutes on the radio, but we also did about 20 to 25 minutes off of the radio. That's exclusive content. You can go back. It's still there. You can go to the 107.5 The Game page and you can watch the video. You can fast forward. You don't have to watch the whole 3 hours to get to the part you want to watch with Frank Martin, but you can fast forward. But Frank talked about point guard play, Patrick. And quite honestly, if we look at this basketball team, and I think it was a big part last year, even though you had good players in A.J. Lawson, you had Keyshawn Bryant, you had Jermaine Cousinard, finding competent, quality point guard play is going to be something I'm interested to watch tonight, just in an exhibition. A guy who is a vocal leader, a guy who can facilitate the offense and create for his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, he said Frank even admitted. I was surprised. I was almost surprised he admitted it. He said Ralph Elder was the last true point guard they've had on this team, and PJ Dozier. So we're going on almost 5 years now since this Frank Martin team, which it's so important to have a leader back there, has gone without a true point guard. And last year, the roles were just confused between Couisnard and Lawson. Like, neither of them was a true point guard. They both probably just wanted to score more than anything, and it just wasn't working right. And I mean, we'll see this year. So I mean, I was shocked. It was a good conversation, and I do feel like that was in the live stream only portion. But he did admit, yeah, it's been since Ralph Elder since you've had a true distribution minded first point guard.
We'll see if that's Chico Carter this year. We'll see exactly who maybe steps up. We're not going to learn a ton tonight. Let's not act like tonight is the end all be all for South Carolina when it comes to saying, oh, this is what the basketball team is. Maybe Jermaine Couisnard ends up developing more into that point guard role. But certainly with this team, I think it's just interesting. One of the texters on the line is just not listening at all. He says, y'all say the same stuff every year. No, give credit to Patrick. Sir, pay better attention. Listen better. Like, just flat out listen better. Patrick has been on this for the last few years where he doesn't try to blow smoke up anybody's rear end and hype this back. Patrick's been on this. Maybe you can blame me. If you want to blame me, I've been excited about the team and maybe overhyped them, but try and listen better. Patrick's been on this the last few years where he has not hyped this team and has flat just said, hey, I don't know what to expect. And I feel like that's what we're doing this year. They might, who knows what, Patrick, I really don't know what to expect from this basketball team. We'll talk more about it. JoJo English coming up in about 45 minutes. We'll continue. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100, how you can do so. Rooster P weighing in from Dallas, Fort Worth. Lots of giblet gravy. Is it giblet or giblet? Giblet.
I've heard both, but I thought it was giblet.
Giblet. He says lots of giblet gravy on the baked oyster dressing and buttermilk pie. And then a lot of you weighing in. I like this one. This is a great question, although I think it's an easy answer from an anonymous texter. Is alligator considered seafood?
That is a good question. I would have just assumed so, but now that you bring it up, like, it doesn't. They swim. Is turtle seafood?
Well, no, turtles. Well, I mean, I guess if it's a ocean turtle.
Kind of go back to the whole thing. If you see food, you eat it.
Okay.
So.
And there's that. And then Clark weighs in with the question of all questions this morning. So is all stuffing is dressing, but not all dressing is stuffing?
Way too deep before 7 a.m.
6:49. Dunkin' Donuts was awake and ready with their coffee this morning.
Brian Edwards is awake too.
Oh, is he tweeting?
Yeah, he tweeted.
Excellent.
Al Horford.
Nice. Looks like we're going to have Brian Edwards at 8:20 this morning. JoJo English, 7:30. Brian Edwards, 8:20. Kerry Tharp, 8:40. You can weigh in with any opinions, thoughts, criticisms, or appreciation. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
College football playoffs are here.
Sometime, crew is up against it. And win just one for the zipper.
Oh, all that discussion about Thanksgiving. I'm starving now. 6:50 in the morning. I'm very hungry. I'm also now concerned about my house. All the family's coming over to my house because I have the best house in the family. I hope that doesn't offend any of the family members that might be listening at 6:50 in the morning. They're all coming over. That means you need to call Zero Res. Get them out to the house. Get the house clean. Get the rugs, the carpet, the tile. Get it all cleaned with the patented ZR water technology. Incredible and scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. Trust me, I cannot recommend Zero Res enough. Right now, you need to call them and get them lined up for a cleaning before Thanksgiving. So when the family comes over, they brag about how clean your house is. What phone number do you call, you ask? I'll tell you, don't worry. 803-262-4020. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Columbia.com right now. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 when you mention my name. That's right. Just think, all you got to do is remember my name, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game. And you can call Zero Res 803-262-4020. And you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. That's only like 4 turkeys. Yeah, 4 turkeys. That's all. You don't need 4 turkeys. You need 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. You just got to remember my name, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game. 803-262-4020. You can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Right now, Robin, I've been going with caramel and hazelnut. Caramel and hazelnut have been the go-to Dunkin' coffee order. Iced coffee. I still haven't made the transition yet to hot coffee. I really, really, really need to purchase some coffee for the house and stop spending $3.15 every morning on Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And I'm not ready to make the transition to $7 a morning coffee at Starbucks. I need to get back into the coffee for wellness or purchase some Black Rifle coffee to make it the house, because it's not been a healthy week. We are flat into stopping at Dunkin' Donuts and relying on them to provide my morning energy.
Craig, to answer your earlier question, she's a critical care nurse at University in Augusta.
I don't know JoJo's Twitter handle.
I think we have gotten to the bottom of this, and they're just the same thing.
I think you're right.
They're just the same thing. That may have been how it was traditionally cooked. Nobody makes it that way anymore. Well, some people might, but most people don't.
Yes, ma'am.
My girlfriend actually does dry out the bread, though. Like, I went to her house last year, or dropped her off for Thanksgiving at her parents' house, and they had a table full of just bread drying.
And it's the cheapest bread you can get. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive, because my mom would do that, like 2 of the smaller loaves or something, and then to kind of like do 2 pans of it, and she would dry it, and eventually she would put it in the oven and kind of toast it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, we're running a little late.
You're fine. You know how to fix it.
Yeah, push stuff to other breaks.
Oh wow, it is late. It's 6:55. I didn't realize we were that late.
Exactly.
Well, you finished your live read at 6:52.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
It's like 6. It was
Not
like
6:52.
It's like about 51:30.
I didn't
That's right.
finish. Only did the Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing, and I think I did that in the previous one.
That's a line. I'm
Got us
talking
into
about
the
live read.
Thanksgiving discussion.
Right. So, yeah, we're just gonna go to 56:40, so you'll have less than a minute. I'm going to the end hour bump here.
Okay. I want to go back to bed.
Clearly, you're up.
Thursday morning edition of the early game. Jen Jensen, Patrick Perrette, Bill Gunner. Hope you are up and at 'em this morning. Got a busy show for you.
JoJo
English.
former Gamecock, joining us here in about 35 minutes. 8:20. Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com, will give his picks. In 8:40, Kerry Tharp. We think we figured out the dressing stuffing situation. Thank goodness it's 3 weeks until Thanksgiving. I hope some of you realize that. It sneaks up on you. Thanksgiving 3 weeks from today. 2 more hours on the early game. We'll provide entertaining content and guests right here on 107.5 The Game.
The home of the game. 107.5 The Game. WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Oh, still dark outside. That is clever, Troy. Clever. Patrick, what time you leaving today? Good news, everybody. We get Patrick back in studio. Our resident engineer comes back in studio tomorrow.
I'll bribe you with a Cheez-It pretzel combination.
Yeah, exactly.
It has
I
to
gotta
melt
be on the
in
road.
24 hours, so we made fresh last night.
Nice.
So it'll be ready.
Nice. I'm gonna get on the road within an hour of this show, and then I basically just got to start packing my car immediately.
You gonna pack the dog?
I wish she's gonna be unwell when I'm packing the car.
I know. I hate that.
Did y'all go for your post-show walk yesterday?
Yeah, and we'll take a quick one today, but I gotta roll.
Yeah, we need you back here, Big Carrot. We need you back here. Good.
Not gonna see her again for 3 weeks. Next time I'll see her is Thanksgiving.
Aw.
Where are y'all doing Thanksgiving at?
Greenwood.
Oh, so she's got to come down here, huh?
Yep,
She's met the family, right?
she has. Yeah.
Okay. I thought so.
Got to rip that Band-Aid off early.
No, she met him. She came over Christmas night last year.
Oh, okay.
So that's the best time to bring them over, Christmas night.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't know what we're doing that weekend yet. I think my parents are going to come to Columbia for the Clemson game too.
Mm.
We will have 3 dogs. Dealing with 3 dogs for the Clemson weekend is not going to be super easy, depending on what time the game is as well.
We deal with 3 dogs on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's chaos. They run the house.
I'm worried if it's a night game and about just leaving them all at the house all day is going to be an issue.
Yeah. You know, it makes me wonder, like, what is the TV option going to be? And because neither team is super fantastic right now.
No.
So
It'll honestly probably be it'll probably be the noon ESPN2 game or a 4 o'clock SEC Network game.
I was thinking like 3:30 or 4.
Well,
But
it wouldn't. 3:30 is CBS, but it could be noon on ESPN2. You got to think that day. I'm trying to think of what
No,
else.
CBS,
You know,
true.
Tennessee, Kentucky will probably. Is Tennessee, Kentucky that day? No, Tennessee, Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Kentucky, Louisville.
Kentucky, that's right. Yeah, Kentucky, Louisville. That'll probably be the far more
Would they put
interesting.
Clemson on the SEC Network? I guess SEC Network would love it. Noon ESPN2 I would have no beef with whatsoever. Just get it over
What?
with.
Get
I'd
it
have no
over with.
problem with a noon Clemson game.
Yeah, I'll probably pull for the noon Clemson game. The nooner.
Actually, I don't know. The part that sucks about that weekend is I work Wednesday and Friday. So I'll get off at like 5 a.m. Saturday morning or 6 a.m. Saturday morning.
Oh, I got the schedule for the tournament, for the soccer tournament. Link this game. Makes no sense. Yeah, Auburn, Alabama. That'll be the 3:30 game. But yeah, you look at that the Clemson game will probably be early. I'm trying to think what the Auburn South Carolina game could actually end up being a primetime game as well, because that's not a particularly good. Oh, look who showed up. Polly looks like she's ready to go back to bed and is not particularly pleased that she is up now.
She'll be able to sleep during the day. You know, I might be able to tie her out.
Does not look happy with the owner right now.
Got to get in all her Patrick time.
I don't think she grasps what's about to come, and she's questioning. She looks very irritated. Yeah, that is.
That's spoiled.
Now she looks less irritated.
Yeah, right. Patrick does that to Bill sometimes in the studio too. It kind of calms him down.
Mm-hmm.
Funny.
I'm a witty one.
Jen got full excitement, Bill, when I wandered in this morning. Patrick, you weren't here for my opening rant.
Yeah.
About what?
Stuff.
Just doing a 6 a.m. radio show.
Yeah, basically. See, a 6 a.m. radio show from the studio. It was so much nicer when I could get up at 5:50 and go downstairs and just make sure I had like a shirt and a hat on.
I appreciate you still wearing that when you come in. Thank you.
Yeah, but at the house, I didn't always have pants on.
Oh, we didn't know.
But now I wear pants because that would be awkward.
We
That would be a
appreciate that.
tad awkward if I walked past the security guard.
Well, if they're awake. Actually, there's been a good crew lately.
She doesn't say anything about me not wearing a mask when I come in. She probably wouldn't say anything about the lack of pants.
Probably not.
That's right, Craig.
You're up.
7:05 on a Thursday morning. Hope you are up and at 'em. Kids, if you're in the car, demand from your parents right now a donut.
Because it's Thursday morning. Why would you not? 803-404-6100. If your parents do not get you a donut to take you to school, text in. Let us know your parents' name so that we can yell at them on the radio. You're listening. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrett, Jen Jensen getting you through a Thursday morning. Coming up in about 25 minutes, former South Carolina basketball player, current Lower Richland head basketball coach JoJo English will join us to talk about South Carolina basketball, because tonight South Carolina starts a new edition, and it's going to be interesting. I really am intrigued. Patrick, I don't think we're trying to sell anybody on what South Carolina basketball will be. I think we're just genuinely voicing our opinion that this team going to be pretty interesting to watch, at least for the early part of the season. FYI, in case a lot of you have gotten lost in time, college basketball season starts next Tuesday. The whole schedule. Patrick, I always enjoyed 24 hours of basketball. The overnight kind of midnight.
I can hardly remember that.
You can hardly remember it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I just didn't pay attention because I wasn't watching basketball at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean,
how long has it been since they've done that?
I think 4 years, maybe that seems about right. South Carolina participated one time under Frank Martin. They played Baylor. It was like a noon game here. There was some good games that would take place throughout the day. I'm just looking at the schedule for next Tuesday. It'll get going at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I guess they're doing something similar. Washington State looks like they're actually hosting a game against Alcorn State at 3 o'clock next week. I guess that's like a nooner out there. But college basketball will get going next weekend or next Tuesday. Number 3, Kansas and Michigan State in the Champions Classic. That's at Madison Square Garden. That is kind of one of the bigger games, although I didn't realize until I just looked at it. Michigan State is not ranked. And then the night game, the late night game as part of that Champions Classic will be Duke and Kentucky. Clemson also hosting Presbyterian next Tuesday night. South Carolina hosting USC Upstate. Not a particularly great slate of games next Tuesday night, but college basketball season will get underway, so you can add that to your mix. Yesterday, the big news in college basketball, Oklahoma State banned from the postseason for 2020 or this coming season. They're banned at this coming season. I say 2022. Mike Boynton, a very passionate, emotional press conference yesterday. Patrick, I'm not sure if you saw any of that. Just
saw
kind
a little bit.
Talking
We had to
about
fly to Atlanta, day of Bedlam game, and meetings day of the Kansas game, and all for nothing. Basically, I tried to be cooperative, and this is what we get.
Yeah, it was
bottom line.
Yeah, it was. So that's college basketball. We're coming up here in about
another one. You saw what happened with James Madison, right?
I did not. I did not get my James Madison newsletter yesterday.
The people are pretty fired up. I saw this yesterday that the CAA has told James Madison that they will not be eligible for any postseason conference tournaments if they announce a move to the Sun Belt.
Oh.
So basically, if James Madison decides to leave, they're going to take it out on the players and say, okay, well, if your school wants to leave, then you guys aren't allowed to play in the postseason. How do you like that?
Okay. Very, very shrewd move. Scott, our resident Michigan State fan, who is still probably celebrating from the weekend. He's probably annoyed his family with all his celebrating. I don't know if the kids are Michigan State fans, but Scott says Michigan State basketball will be ranked sooner rather than later. They have some pretty solid pieces. I think the question is for Scott, will Michigan State end up basketball-wise ranked higher than they currently are in football? You want to take the over-under on that there, Patrick? Michigan State, Tom Izzo. I believe they.
Under, because I think Michigan State, I think after watching them against Michigan, I think they're good enough to only lose maybe one more game. I think they'll end in the top 15 in college football. Maybe top 10.
Okay. All right. So there's that.
I'm with that.
David weighs in. He says, come on, Bill. Not a good slate of games. Duke and Kentucky are the two biggest names in college basketball. Well, no, it's like overall, David, I'm not saying there isn't a game or two that's not bad. Like again, Kansas, Michigan State will be interesting. Duke, Kentucky, certainly number 9 versus number 10
every year too. It's not like the Champions Classic is like this new thing that they're doing. It's the first game of the year every year. Yeah,
but overall, David, where I'm going with that, if you look at the overall schedule for next Saturday, next Tuesday night in college basketball, it's not like a barn burner of a schedule. There are some good games, but I'm not particularly saying that the overall schedule is that great. There are some good games. Misunderstanding me there. That's all we're talking about. 404-60-100. How you can join us this morning on the Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. You can also join us on the live stream if you choose to do so. You can go to the YouTube page 1075 The Game. You can also Facebook, Twitter. Again, coming up here in about 24 minutes, JoJo English will join us to talk about South Carolina basketball. Also, basketball will be kind of entertaining. We'll get his take on Columbia Midlands basketball as well as his recruitment under George Felton. We'll kind of go down a path there with JoJo English. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com will make sure he gives out his picks for the weekend. I've got them already sent in so I can look and see what he is looking to take this weekend. And then at 8:40, Kerry Tharp from Darlington Raceway, the president down there, will call in to praise me for my picks and how good I'm doing in the pick'em contest. So
I'm not sure that's kind of the content.
that's exactly what it is. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up.
Busy, busy, busy morning. You got to wake up. You got to be excited. You got to be fired up. You got to be ready to go. And if you're not ready to go, it can make it very difficult. That's why I have a Sleep Number bed. Wake up rested, refreshed, ready to go each and every morning. Because with a Sleep Number bed, when you wake up and you're ready to go, it's exciting. It's interesting. You get a great night of sleep. I put the Sleep Number setting, though, on 45, sometimes 55, just kind of depends on how I feel each and every morning. And with a Sleep Number bed, I get a fantastic night of sleep. The question is, are you doing the same? Are you getting a fantastic night of sleep? And if not, why don't you go ahead and make the switch? Make the switch to Sleep Number today. You can do so. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And right now, during Sleep Number's Veterans Day sale, you can save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed plus special financing. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. Go visit a store today. Two to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, Two Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. Now is the time to make the switch. The Veterans Day sale going on where you can save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed and their special financing. So you want to wake up, be rested, refreshed, perky, ready to go each and every morning? You need a Sleep Number bed. That's really all you need. You don't need coffee. You don't need a happy life. You just need a Sleep Number bed. So make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like. Oh, gotcha, Jim. Jim, I will tell him his favorite student trainer. I will try to remember that. I agree, Alan. Patrick, when does Polly get a Sleep Number bed?
She's a good
When
sleeper. She
Patrick
can sleep on
does.
anything. Yeah, when I do.
Oh, well.
I haven't had a new mattress in ever. My mattress sucks. Polly can sleep anywhere though. She can fall asleep in my lap easy.
I'm not gonna lie, I can sleep anywhere. I'm the same. I could just right now. It could just be a live stream of me sleeping right now. Polly on one camera, me on another.
That'll put us over the 1,000.
That will get us
Subscriber
the
mark.
1,000 subscribers we've been so much fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. It's 7 a.m. It's 7:15 and it's still dark outside. Look at that. That's miserable. Of course, I think today is miserable weather.
right, I just did some Megan. So we only have the two. There is a new guy here. So,
Oh yeah, I got word about that yesterday. It was a very unhappy afternoon post.
Just Getting Started, Season 2. NFL Central. With origin stories from Aaron Andrews, Joe Buck, and Al Michaels. Your best wide world of sports assignment.
West Germany, motorcycles on ice. Quarter-mile track, all iced over, and they would get on motorbikes with spikes coming out of the tires. That's how they got the traction. And they did this in front of 10,000 wild Bavarians. They would start it at about 8 o'clock, but the tailgating would be starting at about 3 o'clock.
Just Getting Started with Rich Eisen. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs it's the body's air filters for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Wood, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath & Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift. Over 2 million stores. Navage.
Emotionally to beat the Florida Gators. Well, it wasn't to beat the Florida Gators. It was winning a big conference game late in the year. 80,000 plus. I told somebody we found a way to keep them in the stands the whole game. This is just a wonderful win from South Carolina football team.
That's our old-timey clip on air sponsor.
Oh, we all just left y'all.
Oops, sorry.
Kind of.
Private conversations.
But I'm all in on the daylight savings. I'm sorry. Like I know it'll be dark and all that, but yeah, I need that.
Yeah. Hour. We get an hour. I still don't completely grasp the whole thing, but yeah.
It's that new math. You'll get it. Just take your shoes off, count. You'll figure it out.
I only need to count to 1, Jen.
I count to 1 on a regular basis.
Yeah. What do you got? Is that a Chewy box, Patrick? What are you doing?
I'm like slowly, methodically going to start packing so that I can quietly make trips in the car.
She won't catch on.
Yeah, hopefully.
I have to do that.
Unfortunately, I have 2 giant briefcases.
It's the zipper on the suitcase that freaks out at least one of our dogs. They're like, "What is
Every
that?"
time. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Richard weighed in on the text line. I forgot about Roy Williams is not at North Carolina, is he? Hubert Davis is there.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let's see. Jen, let me see if this comes through to you on our as I text you JoJo's phone number here. Let's see what.
Okay.
See if that comes through. I don't know how that
Yep. Perfect.
that worked. Okay. All right. Probably try to do a short segment here
And then, okay, because we are 2 breaks this hour now.
yeah, but the last one I'm going to push back as far as possible. That's why I'm going to try and do one here. So if you want to throw more into this one,
No, I've got it broken, so we only have 2. So like literally, we have 1 more this hour.
oh,
Sorry, yeah, I got it fixed. So if you want to go in at 7:30, then we're clear till the end to talk to him. You're welcome.
We know you all love the program and that you have opinions, good or bad. Sometimes you want to weigh in on our program, but you can't get in touch with us. You don't know how to tweet. You can't text us because we don't want to give out our personal phone numbers. But guess what? There's a way to do that. The 107.5 The Game in Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline, 803-978-6654. It's a chance for you to speak your mind whenever you feel like it. Something pops up, middle of the night, you wake up, you're going to get a glass of milk, you think, I really did not like what Perrette said earlier today about the Gamecock basketball team. Or you think, man, Patrick was really on top of things. I should call in and agree. Well, you can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 803-978-6654 if you need to vent. It's the 107.5 The Game in Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline, sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see him down in the Vista, 600 Gervais Street, 803-404-6100. South Carolina, Florida this weekend. Patrick, Jason Brown, that's what brings people to the ballpark, right? Like the opportunity to see Jason Brown and what he does or what he can change for the offense. That's one of the reasons I'm intrigued by this game. Certainly coming off the bye week, coming off the beating at the hands of Texas A&M, the opportunity if Jason Brown is the starter, and he better be the starter. I mean, let's be honest about this. This is not a situation in which Zeb Nolan's coming off of a knee surgery. Or what's the number of days? 11? Is that right? Last Monday? Does that seem right, Patrick?
Pretty close to the number of yards of total offense that they had when last time he was on the field as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's number one. Zeb Nolan is he's just not mobile. I'm not saying anything. I'm not being critical of the young man. I'm not saying anything that people with a working set of eyes or eye can tell. He's not mobile. Jason Brown, at this point, you got to give another guy a shot. You got to see if you can find a spark. And I think that at least maybe draws people to the ballpark on Saturday night. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be in the 40s at game time. But South Carolina, Florida's reeling too. Like we had David Waters on yesterday, Patrick, and this isn't a Florida program that comes in here where you just look at them and say, oh, yeah, that's a juggernaut. They're rolling along. There's a lot of questions regarding Florida as well.
Yeah, and I almost want to South Carolina fans need Jason Brown to start, but what would be the bigger deal for the result of the game? The South Carolina quarterback decision or the Florida quarterback decision? Because I feel like Florida is a totally different team with Anthony Richardson. It didn't look like it against Georgia because Georgia just shuts down everybody. But I think he just opens up their offense so much. Like if Emory Jones comes in here as the starter, and I don't know, maybe Brian would know, but if that would affect the line at all, who the quarterback is, Vegas might see him pretty much the same way. But I feel so much better about an Emory Jones-led team coming into the building on Saturday night.
The big thing about that is that Florida gets a lot of their rushing yards. Top 2 rushers for Florida are the quarterbacks, whether it's Emory Jones or whether it's Anthony Richardson. The majority of the rushing attack is centered around the quarterbacks. Now, Anthony Richardson is the bigger of the two, 6'3", 240 pounds, roughly 240 pounds, biscuit away from 240. Maybe he's over 240 now. But the bottom line is Emory Jones is Anthony Richardson is probably the better passer. And I think that's where you're going with that.
He's also not much slower.
Richardson than Jones? Yeah. But
yeah, for a 240 pounder, he can move.
he's a big boy. Now he does currently, as David Waters told us yesterday, is currently, I guess I should say, dealing with a hamstring injury. And that is
concussion.
Huh?
A concussion.
And a concussion. He's got plenty going on. Yeah. So the bottom line is you got to keep an eye on him. But I'm with you, Patrick. Emory Jones comes in here. If South Carolina can find a way to stop the run, and we started this conversation with Jason Brown in the South Carolina offense, but if South Carolina can find a way to stop the run and force Florida to throw the football defensively, I think they've got a chance to keep this manageable and give the offense a chance to make some plays and maybe get it to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, so they also just have to. A massive problem is going to be for the offense just not losing yards, because Florida does have, their defense is not good, but they do have a couple pass rushers, Zach Carter and Brenton Cox, that will be NFL players. They might not be high draft picks like Enigbare, but they'll both be drafted this year. And if you have a Zeb Nolan back there and are consistently just taking like 6-yard losses on second down and putting yourself in third and long, you're going to be getting off the field very quickly. You need to be able to string together some drives, even if you're not getting points. Just keep your defense off the field, keep the Florida offense off the field, and move the ball and run some clock and win the field position battle. Like, don't punt from your own end zone or from your own 10-yard line because you're taking 10-yard sacks or snapping the ball over the quarterback's head. Like, just limit the mistakes. You're going to be at home. The fan base will be behind you. You should have the momentum, just the natural energy, the natural environment, momentum. Just don't beat yourself. When things like that happen in a Kyle Field, it just spirals. Like, one snap over the quarterback's head turns into 2 more snaps over the quarterback's head. Like, it happened with Jason Brown. Seems like every snap to Jason Brown was a bad snap. So things like that, when you're in a dangerous environment, a really loud environment like Kyle Field, things can pile on top of each other. That's not going to be the case at Williams-Brice. Just don't make mistakes. Don't beat yourself. Keep the ball moving forward. And if you're going to punt on 4th and 4, punt on 4th and 6. Don't punt on 4th and 20 from your own 10-yard line, because that's how you're going to get blown out.
It will be interesting again if Jason Brown is the starting quarterback. And I think a lot of people look, South Carolina has nowhere else to turn. I don't want to compare this. I've seen some people do it, and I don't think it's a fair comparison. Some people have compared it to the Lou Holtz year. Patrick, you weren't around for that, but 1999, in which South Carolina went 0-11, and there were multiple quarterbacks that year. I remember, I think it was, maybe somebody can remember a little bit better than me. My mind is giving way this morning, but I believe it was the Mississippi game. I believe that Mikael Goodman. Patrick, if I say the name Mikael Goodman, does that
means nothing?
It means nothing. Okay. 803-404-6100. If I just say Mikael Goodman, what does that ring a bell with you? He started at quarterback. It was like the 6th quarterback South Carolina started during Lou Holtz's first year with the program. I think they started 6th that year. I believe that's right. But obviously, look, any team, even if this team had expectations, which they didn't, any team that starts 3 quarterbacks in a season, that's concerning. This should be the week, though, that Jason Brown gets the start. And again, I'll say it, I'm interested to see what he gets. He's going to throw the football around the yard. I don't know who he's going to throw it to, Patrick, but you expect him to be a little bit more of a gunslinger than both Luke Doty and what do you expect from Jason Brown?
I mean, I guess gunslinger, because the one thing we did notice in the 4th quarter, Texas A&M, he throws 2 interceptions, but never stopped just pushing the ball downfield. Like, I think he has a short memory, and I think he's always just going to be in attack mode based off just that 4th quarter. And maybe it's a different situation when you're down 44-0 and you have absolutely nothing to lose, or versus you're at home, it's the 1st quarter, you're trying to play mistake-free football against a good Florida team that's favored by 20 points. Maybe the mindset will be a little bit different. I would actually assume so, because the situation is different. I would hope that a mature, smart quarterback, which he is experienced, just not at this level, would understand. But I do think he's going to push the ball downfield. That seems to be his MO.
803-404-6100. We'll continue talking some football coming up at 8:20 this morning. Brian Edwards from VegasInsider.com will join us to give his picks. Again, 8:40, Kerry Tharp joining us as well. But up next, former Gamecock. I just found an old picture of him that we'll put up on the live stream. JoJo English, now the current head coach at Lower Richland High School.
One of the better head coaches here in the Midlands. Had a chance to chat with him the other night. He'll join us on the program next to talk about his recruitment, to talk about the current basketball team, South Carolina and Benedict tonight. Free exhibition game. If you want to go, take the kids, go down to Colonial Life Arena. It is free to get in. You can go and just hang out and take in the game. That is tonight, and we'll talk with JoJo English next here on 107.5 The Game.
And you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT.
It is that time of year. We were talking about stuffing and dressing and all the fun things that come along with Thanksgiving. Some of you may still be using your pool in the backyard, not to jump in, but to host for like a Thanksgiving dinner or a Thanksgiving afternoon lunch. And not so much to get in the pool, but because of the ambiance. You've had a pool put in. Maybe you got a nice setting in the backyard. You got the little waterfalls that go. Maybe you got the lights in the pool and you enjoy still just sitting out back. The problem is, if you don't continue maintaining that pool, it becomes green and murky. It gets nasty. Mosquitoes can kind of develop a home there. It's not an enjoyable place. Why would you allow that to happen? You shouldn't. You need to call Corley Pool Solutions. Continue to keep that pool maintained even through the winter. It's actually more affordable for you to continue keeping the pool maintained with Corley Pool Solutions, who use flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals, all the way through the winter, than to start over again in the month of March. 803-445-8109. That's how you can get in touch with Tracy Corley, who's got 20 years of experience in the industry. That's important because when he shows up and he looks at your pool, he knows exactly what to do. He's got the answers. He's the man with the answers. He knows how to maintain that pool to keep it looking clean, to keep it looking clear. Call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today. 803-445-8109. Again, flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Simple question. I'll decide. What exactly do you use it for? Well, if you go to your pool store, they may not know exactly how much to give or how to use it or what to do. Use Tracy Corley. Corley Pool Solutions. 803-445-8109. That's Corley Pool Solutions. All righty. Let's see here. Let me get a banner up that will mention Coach English. Make sure I got his Twitter handle correct. So many things. Like, everybody thinks, I mean, this is why Dan Patrick and Dan Le Batard have massive, like, they've got so many people to do these things. We're over here having to do them on our own. It's such a tough life. All righty. So we will throw that up here in just a second. And I got the picture, the old school picture of JoJo English.
Awesome. Where'd you find that?
Apparently, if you type in JoJo English, now he's got a bunch of picture with the Chicago Bulls. Played a little NBA. '92, I think, was the start of the Steve Newton era. I have to go back and look. All right, so we're done with breaks. We're good. We
Yep.
can carry him through the end of the hour.
Exactly. You know, you could also text him and say, "Hey, send me a good picture that you would like on our."
No, I like the one that I got. I'm telling you, you hadn't seen it. I'll pop it up here. So let me see here. I've got his thing right there. But I like the picture I found. I mean, I can, there you go. Look at that picture.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Actually, I wonder.
If I could use that on the podcast page.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I like that. I mean, you could maybe edit it and take that off. But
Yes, Troy, you are correct. It used to be. Now people wear 5,000 hats and get paid the same. But it's all good.
I
Oh, I got that. Okay.
have to do so much work. Let's see if I can do this real quick here. Where is the picture of it?
JoJo's ready.
Good. See what y'all. I don't like that. But I can kind of play it up. I'll. Yeah, Troy. Tired. Too much work. $7:39 on a Thursday morning. Hope you're doing well. Time change this week. Don't forget we get an extra hour of sleep, right, Jen?
Good grief. How difficult is this concept?
7:39 on a Thursday morning, Jen. I don't
You're just
grasp
really
a lot of
struggling with
things.
this, aren't you?
This is not. It's not really in my wheelhouse. But I turn around and look behind me, and it looks still dark. It's not supposed to be a particularly great day, by the way. Bundle up, stay warm. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy. But you know what? There's basketball tonight. South Carolina basketball. South Carolina and Benedict play Colonial Life Arena exhibition game. It's free to the public. So if you want to go check out some of the players, tonight is the night to do it. I actually like this, Patrick. Jermaine Couisnard, Keyshawn Bryant not playing tonight or not expected to play per Frank Martin. If it was a real game, they would be available. They would be good to go. Exhibition game tonight, Colonial Life Arena. It's going to be an interesting year. And to talk about it, I bring in an expert, one of the top head coaches in the Midlands, current Lower Richland head coach, and one of my favorite all-time Gamecock basketball players, a guy that I grew up watching, JoJo English. And Coach, welcome in this morning. You're probably making the drive to school. Are you as disappointed in the darkness that's still out there, unlike when it's summertime and it's nice and bright at 7:41?
No, good morning to you all. Appreciate you having me on the show, but no, I'm actually at work. Yeah, it's kind of it's a little unusual being this dark at 7:40. I'm used to the sun hitting me coming down on Gardner Ferry Road at this time of day, but I can adapt and adjust.
Busy time for you. You and I were talking the other night. Tryouts are going on over at Lower Richland. You're getting ready for another big season. There are a few people in this town who can talk about Columbia basketball like you can, because you grew up right here. You went to Lower Richland. You played at the University of South Carolina. You're back at your alma mater coaching. And let's start with that. How have you seen this town evolve with basketball over the last 30, 35 years? And there are lots of really good players around here. I don't like the fact that they transfer out. I wish they would stay here and go win a state championship for their high school, but how have you seen basketball evolve here in the Midlands over the last 30 years?
I guess I had a chance to see kind of like the groups before me, because I was coming to Lower Richland basketball games, when I was 11, 12 years old. So, that was like the Wayne Roberts era, the Prelo guys at Flora, of course, Barry Manning at Oak Cliff was Mr. Basketball, and being recruited by North Carolina and all those other kind of stuff. And then came through with, Stanley, that era. And short after us, Derek Carroll and Ty Wilson went to Georgia. Derek Carroll went to Florida State. Move on up to the Ed Scott and, that era with Aaron Lucas's and move on up to the Seventh Woods era and all that kind of stuff. South Carolina high school basketball has always, to a certain degree, had kids or individuals who had the skill level to play high level Division I basketball. And most importantly, they went to their high schools, whether they were 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, whatever they lived, they felt, and we just played. We didn't think about, okay, I had to go somewhere else to go this place right here. I mean, I don't think it's a new generation of kids. I think it's a new generation of parents, and I don't really want to call them coaches. They are handlers, or people who are around the younger kids and be trying to vicariously live their life through these kids by giving them bad information. And I equate it to like they gambling with the kids' life. Man, you should go to this school and do that. You should go over here if you go over here. And I'm like, if you're really, 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 really good, I got college coaching experience. If you're really, really good, these coaches are going to find you. They're going to know where you're at, because as a high school basketball coach, what happens if Frank Martin is recruiting one of my players, whatever, let's say, for example, and I'm talking to him and whatever. Usually the conversation ends like this. Is there anybody else out there you play against, about, or you hear about, or that you think is good enough to play? And that's how, if I see somebody that's really good, hey, man, coach, you might need to go look at this kid right here. And the problem is these kids are really not good enough. That's why when they transfer, usually, in my opinion, and I'm different from a lot of folks, and I can respect that. But in my opinion, if you transfer them because you have a weak mentality. Like even if you were a high school basketball team that's quote unquote not as good, you don't have the confidence or the wherewithal in yourself to work hard to make those that might not be as good, perform to a level that they didn't even know they could perform to. But what you try to go the easy route, and you go to all these other schools and college coaches. If I was a college coach, I wouldn't want no kid that transfer outside. Certain kids have family situations, and you can't help that. But I don't accept transfers as a high school basketball coach. There's no way in the world you can come to me and say, hey, I don't like Baylor Harris, man. I don't like the way he practices, or I don't like his practice times, and and you could be 7 foot tall and come to Lower Richland. I'd be like, well, you might need to go play someplace else, buddy. Because you have to respect the fact that, the young people have to honor and respect coaching. So to me, that's why I stayed and went to the University of South Carolina. I got a lot of heavy recruitment later, but I just always wanted to be in Frank McGuire Arena. I wanted to be in the Carolina Coliseum with those people, the people that watched me play, the community. And I just felt like them supporting me and yelling for me and cheering for me and stuff like that, that gave me the confidence that we can go out there and compete with the Louisvilles and the North Carolinas and, all these other, quote unquote, big programs that are in, other places, and you could do it right here in Columbia, South Carolina.
He's JoJo English joining us this morning, South Carolina basketball player. I feel old saying this. 1998 to 1992, you were part of the transition from the Metro Conference. I mean, I remember those days.
88 to 92. 88 to 92.
What did I say? I said, 88 to 90. Yeah, 88 to, God, I feel old saying that. But
You said 98 made me feel a little bit younger.
what do you remember about that transition? That Metro Conference, you played 3 years in that conference, and you mentioned the Louisville and Virginia Tech and Memphis and Florida State. And man, I grew up watching those games with my father, and then obviously your senior year was the transition to the SEC. What do you remember about that transition from the Metro Conference and those rivalries that you had for 3 years to the SEC?
Well, to be quite honest with you, to tell you the God's honest truth, I honestly think like the athletic department doesn't value or appreciate that transition that our group, you know, not just the basketball player, football player, all the sports that went from the Metro Conference to the SEC, you know, back in 91, 92. I don't think they really like honor that or respect that as players, because we haven't heard from them. Because my thing is this right here, like when we played in the Metro, for example, like it was still high level competition. Florida State had George McLeod and Tony Dawson, Theron Mays, and all these guys, you know, back in the day. Memphis State had Elliot Perry, who right now is a general manager of a professional NBA basketball team. Charlie Ward came a little bit later at Florida State. Bimbo Coles at Virginia Tech, and then, you know, when the transition came our senior year and we said we getting ready to go into the SEC, oh man, Rump Arena, Kentucky, Jamal Mashburn, Rick Pitino, Tennessee had Allen Houston at a particular time, Alabama with Latrell Sprewell, Robert Ory, James Hollywood Robinson, Whip Sanderson as their coach. You know, it was Georgia had Laterra Green, you know, Florida, the Gators going down there and stuff like that their very first year. And we were part of the very first wins as a basketball team in the SEC. First losses too, first road wins, first everything. You know, we were part of that we were that, you know, understand what I'm saying? And we didn't have like like the super wealth of talent, you know, to a certain degree, but we competed, you know, we beat the Tennessee, we competed in the SEC tournament. You know, we were playing with some injuries and some you know, academic issues with at a particular time. But I think that, you know, we played Kentucky really, really well. Only person that I think they went to like the Final Four or something that particular year, somewhere close. And the only person that had double digits that game was Jamal Mashburn. You know, and so we were part of something that I think was kind of like taken for granted as a whole. You know, like the very first year in SEC. You know, because I mean, we all know respectfully that South Carolina is really a football school. Like football team, you know, garnered a lot of attention. Don Staley with Martin is what he's done. You know, going to the Final Four and the teams that they had now are. You all know in Columbus, South Carolina, that is Gamecock. It's different than Gamecock football, one playing in the playoffs and, you know, the basketball to a certain degree, which is respect. We understand that because, you know, we still came here to thank football fans and watch us play and love what we did and cheer for us just as hard and cheer against Bryce. You know what I mean? And I think that was really, really. And just I don't understand leaving South Carolina, even when I talk, and I know the other, you know, schools and stuff over the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, because I coach basketball camps and yada, yada, yada. To me, it's just nothing like, you know, like playing in Frank McGuire Arena. And then, you know, God blessed me with opportunity to, you know, win a state championship as a high school basketball coach in the Colonial Center. And I was actually part of, you know, the basketball team when they actually transitioned to open, you know, that building, you know, back in the early 2000s. So to me, it's just the pride of being in Columbia, man, regardless, you know, support the fan base, the community, and Columbia has changed. You know, I've been here all my life. I've been here when it's one side of life. Down fairgrounds, before ADs, before all these coaches in South Carolina now. I've been there before them. I'm gonna be there during them. I'm gonna be there after them. You know, and I always take pride in that because I, you know, love the city of Columbia, and I love not just that, the support that, you know, the Gamecock fans give to, you know, to the all the sports actually. So being that first group actually went to the SEC is something that you think about all the time. Because I mean, basketball wise, I think we had 7, and Shaquille O'Neal was at LSU.
Yep.
So I had a chance to compete against like 8 first-round picks, that year, my senior year, man, in the SEC basketball wise. So it was phenomenal to, like the athletic department might not really honor or really respect it because they weren't about whatever's going on now. I understand that. But like my child and the people going up behind me 10, 20, 30 years from now, when they talk about, well, when did USC first go to the SEC? Oh, they went in 92. Well, who's the basketball team? How did the football team do? They're going to be able to look back and see, oh, okay, you're always going to be attached to that some kind of way. That's just a part of history that's indelible, actually.
That's a good point. I agree with you, and I've never thought about it that way, about honoring those teams, that team that you played on that made the transition to the SEC. Obviously, for you, it was a big transition. We only got about 2 minutes left, but I don't know if you can just relate back to George Felton, the guy who recruited you. And I've always said, I know that there were some issues. I'm not trying to absolve George or Coach Felton of that, but certainly if he'd have stuck around, JoJo, maybe South Carolina basketball is entirely different today than it was or as it turned out over the years.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether he had any issues. I don't even think like that. But one thing that Coach Felton always did is he was integrated within Columbian high school basketball with the coaches and all that kind of stuff. And in some kind of way, I don't know, it seems like it's a little detachment, between the high school coaches, I guess football and basketball wise to a certain degree. And that's why you see so many kids in all sports going to the different surrounding areas to play whatever, particular kind of sports. But the one good thing that Coach Felton always did, he was always in the gyms in Columbia. He always recruited basically inside out. You know what I mean? So he knew about the younger kids when they were in the 9th and 10th grade. And what people don't really understand, the ones that are really D1 special, they are identifiable probably in the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, because they're just physically different than everybody else, their skill set and stuff like that. So Coach Felton did an outstanding job, and he had to help Coach Glimp and Coach Childers, Coach Trapp, Coach Williams, God bless them, all those coaches, high school coaches, legendary coaches that was in the community, that he had a relationship with. So all the players kind of identified with Coach Felton that were local and statewide, actually.
Yeah, I need to remind you here. We got about a minute left. Jim Blakely on the live stream, who's listening in this morning, says that he was your favorite student trainer. He wants me to tell you hello. Several people.
yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
Several people weighing in with agreeing with you and very, very pleased with your take on high school basketball and transfers. Now, Coach, we don't have a ton of time left, and I need to get you in studio. One day, maybe I can get you in studio. We can just sit down and talk basketball for an hour. You're phenomenal at it. But very quickly, what you're kind of expecting early on from South Carolina and Frank Martin here in the early part of the season?
Hey, I think, of course, them kids going to play hard. I'm very familiar with James Reese. I had a chance to coach against him when he was a 10th grader. Actually, he's from the Lower Richmond community. Was supposed to be going to Lower Richmond High School. Chico, I've known his family since he's come to my basketball camps back in the day at Trenton Park. I coached Jermaine Cousinar in the Pro-Am. I have a connection to.
Okay. I am taking an extra minute right now, but I'll just go to 57.
I
hit the bump at 56:40.
In my coaching philosophies, but I think that for the program to really take that next level, like this year, to go to compete in SEC, it's one step at a time. You really want to win that next game, and stuff for that particular next Florida State coming up. But the big people, the forwards, the post people have to be way above average for the team to have success. We can have all the guard play and, not turn the ball over, score points. But the really good teams, and you can look at this in women's basketball, men's basketball, like, for example, when we had really, really good big people, Silva and kind of stuff, the team had success. Yeah, we had PJ and stuff like that, but you got to have that post presence to win at a high level. Men's basketball, women's basketball, you see what Don's doing with Boston, Asia Wilson, you got to have those type players. So I think Coach Martin is thinking along the same lines as I am, that those big people have to be physical, they have to score, they have to play defense in order for the program to really go to that next level, really compete with SEC, have a chance to win the SEC tournament, and then get into the NCAA tournament, because everybody thinks about this. The NBA tournament is not the step first. You got to compete in the SEC first before you even get to the NCAA tournament. But I know Coach Martin gonna have those guys prepared. Coach, is really enthusiastic, I believe, about this group. And but the kids have to believe in themselves. There's only so much that a coaching staff can do, but those kids have to believe in each other and just compete and just believe in each other, like brothers. And they can control how far they go and how successful their season will be without doubt.
He's Coach JoJo English over at Lower Richland. Coach, I'm going to be in touch with you. We're going to get you in studio here and talk some more basketball. A lot of people agreeing with several of your takes this morning, so I definitely want to spend more time with you. I appreciate you taking time to join us, though, and look forward to watching Lower Richland and your team this year. Good luck and best of wishes to you.
I appreciate you all, man. Everybody stay safe. Take care of each other, and look forward to talking to you again, man.
Look forward to it, Coach. Take care. Be back. Hour number 3 up next. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Years, a family business owned and managed by multiple generations. Let their family.
All right. Audio was a little in and out on that, but I thought that was pretty good. Pretty good. Get the audio fixed. No, Craig, that does not help. No, you're welcome, Jim. It does not help. I'm gonna text him, see if we can get him in studio. Patrick, that was Patrick's wandered away. Patrick and Polly have wandered away, and I'm gonna wander over to the other screen here to take.
Yeah, I just rewatched that video of the Bulls and the Knicks? Yeah, it's quite a fight.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do two picks. Just who you think's gonna win the race, and then who you think's gonna win the championship. I figure we can all pick the same person for the championship. Like if we all think Denny Hamlin, that's okay. But we pick different people to win because the highest finisher wins the championship. So they don't have to win the race to win the champion. So it could be
the points.
Yeah, so it could be Kevin Harvick wins the race, but
Right.
Truex finishes best. So anyway, so I'm saying pick a winner. We all have to have different people for that. But if we all pick the same person to win the championship, it's just a bonus.
One bonus.
It makes
okay.
no difference whatsoever.
Just making sure that it wasn't some random bonus point that could propel you or carry
Oh,
it.
no, it would have been like 30 points.
Yeah. Just making sure.
Anyway.
Okay. Yep, we're good with that.
Okay, let's get that.
Look forward to it, Coach. Take care. Be back. Hour number 3.
I appreciate you all, man. Everybody stay safe. Take care.
I hear you. We hear you. We hear you editing. We hear you. We hear you.
You don't
Jeez.
anymore.
The professionalism around here is unmatched. All right, what am I doing now? Let's see. Patrick is sneaking out on the dog. So you got that.
Poor Polly. I just feel for that dog.
Yes, I feel awful for the dog who has got a house and is well fed and has good owners. I feel ridiculous, like awful for the dog.
You know what I mean. She's going to be heartbroken because he's gone. She's had company all day. Now she goes back to, having to wait for the owner to come home.
Yes, probably a very tough life the dog is living, napping all day. 2 breaks this hour? 2 or 3?
Okay, whatever.
You didn't. Did you text? You didn't text me. You changed on me for which was fine.
Well, it wasn't.
You hadn't sent me anything for the 8 o'clock hour.
It's coming right now, my little napping friend.
Oh, why are you sending something?
Now you're talking about napping and.
Dude, I definitely going home and back in bed.
Your Golden Knights just made a blockbuster trade.
At 8:03 in the morning, 5:03 Vegas time?
Yep. Traded for Jack Eichel.
Yep.
Up and at 'em at 8:03 on a Thursday morning, according to Patrick Perrett. We don't get to break news at 8 o'clock often, but according to Patrick Perrett, big NHL trade. Give us the lowdown, Patrick. We will stop everything we're doing with the show. It's been a good show. JoJo English, big thank you to him for joining us just a few minutes ago. Anything you missed, you can catch on the podcast page. Jen is working hard in there. She'll have that interview up. You can go check us out on the live stream, the YouTube page. Big thank you to everybody joining us this morning. Troy, Lauren, Chuck, Craig, Steven, RL, Travis. Hope is in there. She's still celebrating. No word if Hope just painted the town red yesterday. Just Braves. She just we're still concerned on the live stream if she's just been partying basically for about 34 hours consecutively. But everybody in on the live stream. But we paused the program right now to get to breaking NHL news. 8:04 Eastern time, 5:04 Vegas time, and there's a massive trade to get to.
Yeah, no, this is actually a huge trade. I mean, I don't know if you're a casual hockey fan, you know the name Jack Eichel. If you don't watch any hockey, you might not, but probably I'd say top 20 player in hockey. He's 25 years old. He's American. He went to Boston University. He's a stud. He was playing for the Buffalo Sabres since he was drafted by the Buffalo Sabres and played there ever since. And the relationship has gotten very soured there. And there were issues with him most recently disagreeing with the team on how he should go about his knee injury. I think it was a knee, but they were saying not to get surgery, and he wanted to get surgery, and it was a whole big thing. And he's been on the free agent market, or not the free agent market, but the trade block for a while, and just got moved to Las Vegas. So Jack Eichel, one of the best players in hockey, headed to Las Vegas for Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, and a first-round pick.
Big
news. Kind of league-shaking news for hockey.
Oh, just huge. So we got that. Yeah, Trey on the live stream. He says, "Holy smokes, Eichel to Vegas." This is huge. So yeah, big news.
I mean, you're right. It's the equivalent of like an Aaron Judge or Christian McCaffrey being traded to a contender. That's exactly right. Well, I guess Aaron Judge is already on a contender, but yeah, just moving a team from the absolute worst team in the league to a contender immediately. One of the best players in the league immediately to a contender.
So we open hour number 3 with huge NHL news. We'll continue on with some college football discussion. South Carolina and Florida this coming weekend. Jason Brown expected to be the starter. A couple of you have weighed in on both the live stream and on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. And Patrick, there is part of me that thinks that this take is extreme with what I'm about to say. But multiple people have had it. And while I can't say that I'm 100% on board, there's part of me that does understand it when people say that if Shane Beamer doesn't, Shane Beamer's the head coach. This is part of being the head coach. You make the final call, not the offensive coordinator, not the defensive coordinator. At the end of the day, you make the final call. You do trust your coordinators to make the right decisions, but it's on Shane Beamer. And there's people saying both on the live stream and on the text line, if Beamer doesn't start Jason Brown this weekend, given what we've seen from Zeb Nolan, that they will kind of, I don't know if you'd say pull their support, but they will lose some faith in Shane Beamer. Oh, I see a smile, a smirk.
No, I mean, the exact text I read was he'll lose the fan base if he doesn't start Jason Brown.
What do you make of that?
I think it's a stretch to say he'll lose the fan base, but it's not a crazy stretch. I mean, look, Zeb Nolan, he's 24 years old. He's not a kid. We can talk about it. He's been bad. He was terrible against Texas A&M. That's the bottom line. He didn't do it. The offense couldn't do anything. Maybe it's not all his fault. The offensive line is horrendous, but he couldn't do anything. Jason Brown came in there, scrambled around. Yeah, he threw 2 picks. He wasn't great, but he made some plays. And he's the only person you haven't seen yet. If you want to give the fans something to be excited about, you got to put in a quarterback no one's seen yet. And Shane said it in his post-game press conference. He said Jason's a gamer. He called him a gamer. So we have been led all season to believe that he has not looked good or ready in practice. Just the way they talked about the quarterback, saying Luke and Zeb seem to be in a conversation by themselves, and Jason Brown and Colton Gauthier were in the not even close to being ready category. Well, we've seen now that Jason Brown is ready. When the lights were on, he played fairly well. And now Shane has described him as a gamer. So at this point, it doesn't matter what he looks like in practice because you know what he can do in the game. Every time the fans have gotten a chance to see him, he's made plays that could at least excite you. He hasn't been perfect. He threw 2 interceptions in 1 quarter. Yeah, that's bad, but it doesn't matter. You got to give him something to be excited about. And trotting out Zeb Nolan after he threw for 30 yards in 3 quarters, was sacked 3 times, had a quarterback rating of 15, a QBR of 15.9 against a Florida team that's favored by 20 points right after he got surgery. That's doing nothing for anybody.
803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. Coming up here in about 10 minutes, we'll catch up with Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com, MajorWager.com as well. He'll give his picks for the weekend as you plan out your parlay cards or your pick'em contests as well.
MAC football the last 2 nights have been very good. Anything you've missed today, JoJo English in the last segment, big thank you to him. We'll definitely get him in studio in the coming weeks to talk more, not just about South Carolina basketball, but about high school basketball in general. A big thank you to him. Coming up at 8:40 this morning. Also, Kerry Tharp, Darlington Raceway president. Jen Jensen has handed me the pick'em sheet for the week as I have to make my picks, and whew, I have a commanding lead in that. We'll get more into that as we roll along, but Artia weighing in, Trey weighing in on the live stream, and both saying, what do you have to lose by starting Jason Brown? I will say this. You're right, Patrick Zen. I giggled. I high school giggled when you said it. Like Zeb Nolan, he was a coach for a couple months. You are right. Criticism is probably very fair for him. Like he should be able to handle it.
Well, we say we don't want to criticize kids. Zeb Nolan's older than over at least a half dozen NFL quarterbacks at this point.
Yeah, that's actually probably very true as well. It's actually a very good point.
I mean, he's 100% older than Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or any of the rookies.
I do think with Jason Brown, look, I'm not buying completely into the Texas A&M game. There was 2 interceptions in that. He did some good things, but he also
played against backups. I mean,
but at the end of the day, look. Do I want to see him? Yes. And I think you don't do anything as a college football head coach. You shouldn't do any game decisions should not be made for the sake of the fan base. You don't, hopefully no college football coach is going on message boards or listening to sports talk radio shows and going, oh, they were very upset. I should make a change. Hopefully you can make that point or you can make that decision on your own. But at this point, you're right. We've seen Zeb Nolan. I think it would be interesting to see Jason Brown, and if there is a spark, certainly The offense needs a spark. Marcus Satterfield needs to come up with a game plan here. They work South Carolina. That the schedule remaining, we should point this out because I know people are upset with 4-4 and how the offenses looked. South Carolina has a chance to become bowl eligible. Missouri's not very good right now, and you get them next week, and we'll see what they look like. Florida is in a weird place. Patrick, I feel like Florida could come out and be phenomenal on Saturday night. I feel like they could come out and really struggle. It's hard to tell what Florida team you're going to get. Clemson, I don't think just because they put up, 24? They put up 24. They ended up with 30, but the offense didn't put up the last 6 there. Just because the offense was a little better against Florida State, I don't feel like Clemson has turned a corner. It's interesting where this schedule. Auburn looks really good, by the way. I'm not really going to say that South Carolina will be maybe a 3-touchdown underdog in against Auburn unless things change drastically. But bowl eligibility is there, and Jason Brown, if he's the spark and he can get you to a bowl game and get you 15 extra practices, and it's just something you can sell on the recruiting trail, you got to do it, right?
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to. Yes, you have. And you know what? I don't think it's sending a message to the fans either. I mean, I think it's important to keep the fans excited because you want that on the recruiting trail. You want to be able to say, look at our fans, we're 4-4, and they're still putting 50, 60,000 in the stadium. Like, that's what you want, and it's not going to happen with Zeb at quarterback. You have to give everybody a chance. You can't be satisfied with, I mean, you certainly can't be satisfied with 30 yards through 3 quarters, but you just can't be satisfied with mediocrity. You have to give everybody a chance. And, I mean, to the point of yesterday, we talked about freshman QBs. Troy says in the live stream, and he's not a freshman. I just looked it up. Jason Brown was in the same recruiting class as Jake Fromm. Like,
okay.
He's old. He's an old player. If he can't get it done now, then he has no business being at South Carolina. And I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's what's going to happen on Saturday night. Is he goes out there and doesn't look good, and we have to pull the plug immediately. That's the other thing. Start him. There's no rule that you have to play him the whole game. I mean, if he doesn't look good, have Zeb ready. I'm sure Zeb will be ready no matter what. He's a coach. He's going to prepare like a coach and like he's going to be ready to play no matter what. But just start Jason Brown and see what he can do. Just do it for everybody. Like Trey said in the live stream. There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
803-404-6100 here. You can join us on the program. You can join us. Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Derek weighing in. The interception thrown by Brown. Not all of his fault. The receiver juggled one into the defender's hands. That's true. The other one, though, was an underthrown ball. Rooster P weighing in this morning from Dallas-Fort Worth. He's already weighed in with a hot take on giblet gravy on baked oyster dressing. If you missed the oyster, the dressing versus stuffing conversation, you can go back and check that out on the live stream. But Rooster P weighing in says, I agree. Jason should start. What he did against A&M was against the second string. What do we have to lose? And I think that's where a lot of fans are. What does exactly South Carolina have to lose by starting Jason Brown? Look, you've kind of seen everything else. And by the way, just for the record, I'm of the opinion, and we had Perry Orth on Tuesday. You can go back and hear that interview with Perry on the 1075thegame.com podcast page. You go to 1075thegame.com. You can check out the podcast page, and any interview that you miss, you can hear. Patrick, I'm of the opinion Colton Gauthier is not an option this year. Please, for once, let a freshman quarterback go through his freshman year without being forced into action. Just see what happens for a change. You look at the last several freshman quarterbacks, they've all been pressed into action. Allow one guy to actually develop and see where it goes from there. So, to me, Jason Brown is the last option there at quarterback to see if you can develop any kind of spark in the offense.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get the Colton Gauthier conversation. I think there's a level to it. Like, it's not gonna do him any good just throwing him out there against Auburn or throwing him out there against Clemson and letting him just get crushed. But there's also like split opinions on this. Perry had one thought, but I've heard, I mean, we talked about, I think earlier this year during, I forget what Peyton Manning was talking about, but like Peyton Manning was he's talking about rookie quarterbacks. He's like, yeah, just get out there and play. I mean, if you're not going to pick it up on the field, you're not going to pick it up at all. Like, just put them out there and play. If they fold in the under the lights or under the weight of all the expectation, like they weren't ultimately going to be the guy anyway. So maybe Colton Gauthier will never be the starter at South Carolina, but in essence, I agree with you that it's not going to help anything putting him out there right now with 4 games to go. Jason Brown, for all intents and purposes, is the last resort. But I mean, what if he plays really, really poorly and Zeb gets hurt because of his surgery? I mean, you're going to have to go to Colton Gothier. Like, an SEC team should really not be in the position that South Carolina is right now, but they shouldn't have had to put a coach on the field as a starting quarterback anyway. But the numbers aren't great. So, like, there is a situation where Colton Gothier could be forced into action here pretty shortly.
803-404-6100. Richard weighs in. And at first, I thought he was joking. He said he was going to the North Carolina Wake Forest game this weekend. I was like, oh, that's not good. But then I went back. One of his texts, he said he's ready to see his Tar Heels. He was talking about basketball. He was ready to see his Tar Heels. Finally got rid of Roy Williams. And it dawned on me, I forgot about that. Roy Williams gone in North Carolina. The Hubert Davis era starts for North Carolina basketball next week. And he said, Richard, very bitter with North Carolina, said Roy should have been gone 5 years ago. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning if you'd like to weigh in on anything. Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. Coming up next, Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider, has been pretty hot for us lately. Last week was a little difficult, but we'll get his takes on games this coming weekend, which games he likes. You can write them down. You can track them. And again, anything you miss, you can listen to on the 1075thegame.com podcast page. Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider up next. You're listening to the early game on 1075 The Game.
1075 The Game is omnipresent and free of charge.
Feeling a little pain this morning, maybe in your muscles, in your joints, tissues, all kind of things like that. Maybe you got some injuries that are still lingering, some ACL or LCL, MCL type injuries. Now's the time to get them fixed. Don't wait around any longer. Call QC Kinetics today. Non-surgical regenerative medicine that can get you back up and running, get your quality of life back. 803-281-6860. No steroids, no opioids. This is the way to do it. It's a pain management clinic that's ready to help you with any injuries to muscles, ligaments, tissues. If you want to get rid of inflammation, now is the time. Don't wait around. Don't hobble through life. Don't hobble through Thanksgiving and Christmas. Call QC Kinetics today. 803-281-6860. You heard me correctly. All consultations are free. Now is the time to give them a phone call and get your quality of life back. Again, 803-281-6860. Regenerative medicine. It is FDA compliant. This is the way to get your life back. If you're hobbling around, again, if you've suffered some injuries in the past, some deals with your ligaments, with knee injuries, things of that nature, don't let it hamper your life. Call QC Kinetics today. 803-281-6860. They got an office right here in the Midlands. You can get in touch with them. If you've been suffering from pain and your doctor has told you surgery is the only option, that is not the case. Give QC Kinetics a call. 803-281-6860. Yes, Trey, QC can fix that. We got all kinds of things that can be all kinds of things. Oh, everybody's just check. There we go. Yeah, everybody just. All right, let's see. Brian Edwards is up. So again, we'll throw that up. That way you're in tune with who we have on, keeping up. Travis, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is a conversation I think we have to have tomorrow on the quarterback situation and what you elect to do and how you think it should be handled with Gauthier. I mean, again, playing him in a blowout is one thing as opposed to putting him out there in meaningful action. And maybe that's a conversation that we have to have tomorrow. And I'm with somebody. I'm not opposed to putting Dak Joyner in there. I mean, Dak, at least DK is more mobile than, I don't know. Luke Doty has not impressed me with his Luke Doty never impressed me with his mobility. At least DK might be a little more mobile. All right. So again, Jen.
So we'll want to be up by like 40, 41.
40. Okay. Oh wow, 8:24. Yeah, I saw that 6 minutes, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right.
Too.
Oh. So what do people say? Giblet or giblet? Giblet with a G or giblet with a J? Giblet or giblet gravy?
Jay.
I thought you were on the G bandwagon. No, you're on the J. That's right. You said J, right?
Yep.
Is that a Midwestern thing?
In the pronunciation?
Yeah. I'm asking. Is like
pecan and pecan, all that.
Yeah. Patrick, what do you say? Giblet or giblet? What does Polly say?
I always thought it was giblet just by reading it, but I guess I've never said the word out loud, and giblet does sound okay.
You're not talking about a vodka gimlet.
Gimlet, yeah, I think that might be what was swaying it a little bit because it's definitely not a gimlet.
Oh, I could have called Brian.
Sounds like a Thanksgiving week debate. Oh yeah, please call our guest at 8:26. Patrick, you see, I sent you the text with his picks. If there's anything else you want to throw at him. But Chuck, where are you from? Because now I'm starting to think giblet and giblet are regional dialects. Fail-proof parlay. Well, okay. Fail-proof parlay. I love the scripts they give me to read stuff. I'm gonna read it as I see it for this new one. Ready? Hey, Gamecock fans! T-Mobile and 107.5 The Game are teaming up every Friday in November for free giveaways. Stop by Old Mill Brew Pub. It's Old Mill Brew Pub in Lexington from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. to enter for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Garnet and Black Traditions. No exclamation point on that one. Plus free appetizers from 4 to 5, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and over or over to enter. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Heath Klein will be out at Old Mill Brew Pub tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Go see him. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah. T-Mobile. No, it says, hey, Gamecock fans, and there's an exclamation point right behind it. So I feel like I should have, open with a lot of energy on that. Again, T-Mobile, 107.5 The Game, teaming up every Friday in November, free giveaways tomorrow. The calendar tells me it's Friday. You can go by Old Mill Brew Pub from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. to enter for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Garnet Black Traditions. Free appetizers. That right there is attractive to me. Free appetizers 4 to 5 p.m. and Heath Klein will be there. Heath's a big Luke Bryan fan.
Go ask him to sing his favorite Luke. He's a Country Girl, Shake It For Me. Big fan. Huge fan. 803-404-6100. Let's go out to another huge Luke Bryan fan, Brian Edwards. Last week you hit us with T.I., although it took us a little while. I re-listened to that segment. I had to go back and re-listen. It took us a little while to figure out the tiny reference to T.I. But Luke Bryan, Brian Edwards, big Brian Edwards, big Luke Bryan fan. How you doing this weekend? How you doing this week, Brian?
I'm doing great, Gunner. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, just enjoying a Thursday morning here. Nothing could be better except getting a couple great picks from you. Brian Edwards, Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com, joins us every week to give his picks or some of his picks for the week. Make sure you go to VegasInsider.com. He is the senior handicapper there. You can also check out MajorWager.com for more information and more breakdown. But let's get to it this week. Last week was a really good week. I enjoyed you had that Michigan State pick. You liked them. You called them as a pick 'em the way you saw it. They end up winning outright. This week, you've got a few more hot picks for us. And let's go with your favorite this week. You've sent me a couple. You just kind of broke them down. But let's go right now with what you like the most this week if you had to pick one.
I'll go with NC State -2.5 at FSU. The Wolfpack 6-2 straight up, 5-3 against the spread. They bounced back from that 31-30 loss at Miami, which looks a little better after Miami. Well, first off, their quarterback, they found them a quarterback, and then they go in and win at Pitt. Well, they bounced back from that loss at Miami to beat Louisville 28-13 last week. They've won 5 of their last 6, 3 of those wins by double-digit margins, each of the wins by at least 6 points. Their quarterback, Devin Leary's having a heck of a year, 66.1 completion percentage, 21 to 2 TDI-INT ratio. NC State's defense is ranked 6th nationally in scoring D. They're only giving up 16.3 points per game, and they are 16th in the country in run defense, which is key because FSU, with Jashawn Corbin, an outstanding young running back, that their key to their offense is the running game. FSU's only 2-3, both straight up and against the spread at home, and one of those wins and covers was against lowly UMass. So I like the Wolfpack -2.5 in Tallahassee.
One of the bigger games of the weekend, should be one of the more entertaining games. Auburn travels to Texas. I think is it Auburn going to Texas A&M? Why is that slipping my mind now? Okay, yeah, I thought that's right. Auburn traveling to Texas A&M. Texas A&M about a 4-point favorite in that game. That's one of the games you like there. How do you see that game? Why do you like Texas A&M hosting Auburn?
Well, I'm playing with fire here because since A&M joined the SEC in 2012, the home team is 1-8 straight up and 0-8-1 against the spread in this rivalry. And Auburn is 4-0 straight up, 3-0-1 against the spread at Kyle Field. However, streaks are made to be broken, and I think A&M's in great form. They've won 3 in a row, both straight up and against the spread. After the Alabama win, they avoid the letdown scenario. They jump on Mizzou early. They kind of, hit the brakes and didn't have much offense in the second half, but they were way ahead and win by 3 touchdowns. And then they're up, 41-0 on South Carolina, late third, and cruise to victory. I don't know that I would turn A&M down -4 at home I would take that against maybe everybody except for maybe 3 or 4 teams in the country right now. I think A&M's in that good a form, and they've had 2 weeks to prepare, and rest up, heal up. And I'm going to go. Now, the line is still a -4 at BetMGM, but most books are at 4.5. So I'd buy that half point to 4. I think a 4 is a key number, like 3, 7, and 10.
So as far as the South Carolina-Florida game, I wanted to ask, we've been talking about the quarterbacks. I can't imagine that Jason Brown versus Zeb Nolan does much to change the calculus for you. But do you look at this any differently with Emory Jones versus Anthony Richardson, or just Florida as a whole any different with Emory Jones versus Anthony Richardson at quarterback?
Emory played better last week. Richardson, Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel broke the story, I believe it was late Tuesday, that Richardson was diagnosed with a concussion and had not practiced. So I'm expecting it to be Emory. I do think Zeb Nolan is a little bit of an upgrade over Brown, but it could go either way. I mean, neither one of the South Carolina quarterbacks is playing great, and neither is either of the Florida quarterbacks. But Emory has been a tad bit more consistent, and I'm going to go with Florida -10 in the first half, and I may even have first quarter lines aren't out. But if I would assume they're less than 7 in the first quarter, I might take a little bit of Florida in the first quarter. I think I prefer those to lay in the 18-ish for the whole game. Florida could get ahead a couple touchdowns, have a letdown, maybe get backdoored. So I'm just thinking first half and possibly first quarter for the Gators.
He's Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter if you're not already, at Vegas B Edwards. He's the senior handicapper for Vegas Insider. You can also check out all of his breakdowns on majorwager.com each and every week. Arkansas and Mississippi State. This is another game you've highlighted. Mississippi State is +5, coming off the win over Kentucky. Also in the college football playoff top 25. I don't want to get into that with you right now because I think those are irrelevant. But Mississippi State, you like that +5 on the road in Fayetteville?
Yeah, I made Arkansas -2. I think they should be slightly favored. being at home and having 2 weeks to prepare. But Mike Leach teams, obviously going back to Washington State days, last 31 as a road underdog, 21-10 against the spread. Mississippi State's defense looked really good last week. I know Kentucky's not, a high octane offense, but they win 31-17, and Kentucky got, a touchdown like mid fourth quarter, and they had a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown early. So really, they only had 3 points of offense through the first 3 quarters and change. And Mississippi State 2-1 both straight up and against the spread on the road this year. And the loss in non-cover was at Memphis, where that was that extremely controversial 95-yard punt return that should not have happened. And Will Rogers, 36 of 39 last week, no interceptions, playing really well. He had the 3 interceptions against Alabama, but he got banged up with that shoulder in the first half of that game. Outside of that Bama game, he's got a 19-4 TDI-INT ratio this year. This one's kind of like the Michigan State game last week. To me, I think it's a toss-up game, and I can get +5 with Mississippi State. And I might get a taste of the money line at +170, but that would be a smaller play compared to the +5.
Are you when you make plays? Trey weighs in on our live stream and says he's not looking for a life-changing parlay, just a fail-proof parlay. Not that there's a difference there. I generally stay away from parlays, but I will take some. I took some when I was out in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I got burnt with Texas Tech losing to Kansas State. Are you a proponent of parlays for the extra money, or are you one of those people? Brian Glenn, a good buddy of ours, he says you don't do those. That is where you lose your money. What's your opinion on parlays, and do you have for Trey a fail-proof or semi-fail-proof parlay?
So my opinion on parlays is you do them for super small amounts and do them for fun. Like you said, you're in Vegas, you wanted to get in the game. And so you probably threw out a 5-teamer for giggles. In other words, if you're like doing your regular plays, like I'm talking about with NC State and Texas A&M and Mississippi State, and let's say you're doing those for like $100 each. So if you do a parlay, do your parlay for $20. Don't do your parlay for the same amount as your normal plays. So yeah, if you were going to do a parlay, you can do money line parlays. Like I would never, play A&M on the money line against Auburn, because you got to lay, I haven't looked at the money line price, but it's probably like -190. So you'd have to risk 190 to win 100. But on a money line parlay, you can throw them in there, A&M on the money line rather than -4. And, I obviously like A&M and NC State at -2.5 and -4, respectively. So maybe A&M on the money line with NC State in a parlay. Maybe wrap it up with UTEP +11, because that's a late game. And if you're still alive on the parlay, if NC State and A&M hit, they're both 3:30 games, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure on that. Or 4 o'clock for NC State. Then you got UTEP +11 finishing it up. And if it pays out a certain amount, maybe you could hedge, come back with UTSA the other way, because that's a late night game.
Brian did send the UTSA game. I think, was it the UTSA game? I'll go back to that real quick. Yeah, he does you like UTEP. That's kind of your under the radar game, I guess. Not a lot of people will put money on that. UTEP versus UTSA, UTEP -11. Just quickly here, I want to get to this one and then the Clemson Louisville game before I let you go. But you do like that UTEP +11.
Yeah, UTEP 6-2, both straight up and against the spread. They're at home, +11. They had their 4-game winning streak snapped last week at FAU, but they only lost by 3. They covered. They out-yarded them 443 to 280. They're 8th in the nation in total defense, 11th versus the run, and that's key going against UTSA's stud running back, Sincere McCormick, one of the best in the nation. So I like UTEP as a double-digit home dog.
One more before I let you go. Just the other local game you mentioned. You're not a big fan of the 18 that Florida's laying. You do like the first half line. Florida -10 against South Carolina, but Clemson and Louisville, the Tigers, a 5-point favorite on the road this weekend. Just overall general thoughts. You didn't send that one to me, so I don't know if you have an overall opinion or a favorite there. But your overall opinion on that line in that particular game.
Well, Clemson covered for the first time this year, but it was obviously one of the bad beats of the decade. I don't want to lay points with Clemson on the road. I don't know that I'm playing Louisville, but I have a contest where I have to pick 25 specific games, and I'm picking Louisville in the contest, so I lean their way.
There you go. He's Brian Edwards. Make sure you check him out at VegasInsider.com, where he's the senior handicapper. Also, go to MajorWager.com. You can read all of his write-ups. Does a phenomenal job. That's why we have him on each and every week. Brian, I appreciate you taking the time. I think you are, though. I gotta make sure of this because I read your Twitter. You're a Florida fan. Is that right? A Tallahassee living Florida fan. Is that correct?
No, I don't live in Tallahassee. I grew up in that area. I live in Santa Rosa Beach, Northwest Florida, between Panama City and Destin, if you're familiar with that. But I am a Gator.
He is. So.
And y'all got Muschamp fired by beating him many years ago. And if y'all beat Florida this weekend, Mullen might be a goner. So we'll see what happens.
We'll catch up with you next week. Follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards. I appreciate you taking time each and every week to join us. Take care, buddy. We'll catch up with you next Thursday.
Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks.
You too. Brian Edwards with Vegas Insider, again, senior handicapper. Make it part of your Saturday morning reading or your every week reading. MajorWager.com is the way you can also check out his write-ups. Does a phenomenal job. 803-404-6100. Next up, my favorite part of the week. Carrie Tharp joins us to brag about my great picks and how I'm about to win the Pick'em contest. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, those Chevrolets, Jen. They have driven me to victory this year, right? Isn't that what all the winners have driven? Chevrolets?
Okay, keep going.
Yep.
Keep going.
Chevrolet. That's why you need to get out to Love Chevrolet. Not only have they driven me to victory in NASCAR all year, they'll drive you to victory in everyday life. Whether you're taking the kids to soccer practice, to cheerleading, whether you're getting yourself to work, or you're just sitting in the car because you need to get away from people. Chevrolet, the car to have. And at Love Chevrolet, they're going to make sure you're taken care of. 14 acres of brand new Chevys, the $1,000 low price guarantee, and the incredible sales staff. That's right. Love Chevrolet has got you covered on all three important points of buying a vehicle. Again, whether it's the largest selection, 14 acres of brand new Chevys, whether it's the best price available, the $1,000 low price guarantee, meaning you can go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Chevrolet and they'll top it, or the incredible sales staff. Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. So don't wait around. Go visit them. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com. Spears Creek Church Road at Two Notch Road in accident. Also Highway 601 at I-20. I-20 eastbound at Highway 6.
Oh, Purdue, huh? Yeah, I don't know about Purdue.
Yeah, good morning, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah,
Good to see,
our resident Purdue fan. The one guy in life who gets to be a Purdue fan.
Always in a good mood too.
That's
nice
an existence. That's an existence you didn't choose. I can promise you that you were born into that, and that's as bad as being a South Carolina fan, I think.
That's not even what I'm talking about.
Huh?
That's not even what I'm talking about with him.
No, but I mean, I think that's part of his anger is he's a Purdue fan. I would be one. West Lafayette is a miserable place. Two, just being a Purdue fan. But yes, Mark is. Interesting. No hope. The next segment is not when you put mute on. It looks miserable out there today. Yes, Trey. Also, Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a sports fan. Yeah, from Winston-Salem to Columbia. All right. ACC football is in an interesting place. We talked about it, Ty, yesterday. With Wake Forest. Wake Forest isn't going to make the playoffs if they go undefeated. Wake Forest will be left out. Apparently, Alabama can lose 7 games and they'll still get in the playoff, though. It's neat stuff. I like that Joe still listens to the segments. I appreciate you, Joe, for continuing to tune in. It's all that matters. Tuning in or commenting. And then if you comment, we know you're listening. I don't know. Does Bama get ratings? Are we tired of watching Bama?
Yeah, they get ratings.
Do they?
Yeah.
I feel like people are Bama'd out. Hey, we just appreciate you hanging around, Joe.
Got a lot of moves to make in the fantasy football front right now.
Patrick, can we get a more boring? What would be a worse NFL game tonight?
Probably.
I mean, it does. You have to find another team to match with the Jets, right?
Seahawks with Geno Smith.
Carroll with the Seahawks.
With Geno Smith.
That's true, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know, Troy. Yeah, Detroit and the Jets. The Lions and the Jets. I agree with you. Not Jacksonville, because I could at least watch Trevor Lawrence and that would keep me entertained, like, and Urban Meyer. But I agree with you on the Lions. The Lions and the Jets would be – I feel like that's going to be our – now that I say that out loud, that's going to be our Thanksgiving Day game, isn't it? That's going to be one of our Thanksgiving Day games.
What? Lions?
The Lions and the Jets. Well, the Lions always play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they'll play at noon.
They'll play at noon, and I feel like if they're not playing the Packers, it's 3 weeks. 12. Chicago. The Bears at Detroit. The Raiders at Dallas and Buffalo at New Orleans on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. Lions, Jets would be the absolute.
All right, we're back.
Would I ever go to West Lafayette? No, I'm not going to West Lafayette. I've seen pictures. (803-404-6100), or you can join us on the live stream this morning. Mark, our resident Boiler fan, Purdue Boiler fan, picking Purdue to beat Michigan State straight up this weekend. That'd actually be a huge upset, Patrick. I don't know what the spread is. I didn't look at that one, but just Michigan State, I'm guessing, coming off the big win, that might actually be a good call on Mark's part, although he is definitely taking the homer route. Up next, my favorite segment of the week, Carrie Tharp joining us, the president of Darlington Raceway. Oh, Carrie, have you gotten the pick sheet yet? Has Jen sent you the pick sheet? Have you looked at the point total? Jen, I'll let you take it. It is championship weekend in Phoenix. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, you got Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr. You two, you and the guru. I just know how to pick these things, but I'll let you and Carrie real quick break this down. It is an exciting weekend for NASCAR.
No, it
Well, it really
absolutely
is, and yeah, all three national series will crown champions out there, and it is exciting. And I know Phoenix is going to be popping out there. They're already sold out for the Cup race, and it's really a real testament to the season that NASCAR has had. I think the competition's been outstanding, and I think we're going to see maybe a surprise champion or two come out of one of these series. But no better place to have it really than Phoenix, to be honest with you. It's a beautiful setting, a great track, and I'm sure they're going to put on a great show.
Again, Carrie Tharp joining us this morning. Now is the time, Carrie. Who are you taking? So according to Jen, we're going to pick for the race. We're going to pick the winner of the race and for the championship. So who are you going with this weekend here in the race?
Well, let me tell you real quick. What we thought about doing was re-racking the points just like they do in NASCAR, and everything's starting at zero again in this contest. But we sent that up the ladder to some of the higher-ups in Daytona, and they said, well, that wouldn't be fair to Bill. Let Bill get his win, and let's lick our wounds and move on to 2022. So anyhow, to win the race Sunday at Phoenix, I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr.
Okay, that's not a bad pick. Now, who do you want for the championship? You're going. I feel like if you're going Truex Jr., you're taking him for the championship as well.
Exactly. I'll take Truex to win the race and to win the championship.
And by the way, I did, when Jen brought me the sheet, I had to make sure that there wasn't some kind of funny points bonus for picking both correctly where both of you could overtake me. Reggie, I'm not even worried about. Reggie's taking his rightful place in dead last again. Jen, who have you got this weekend? Who are you going with?
Boy, there's part of me that thinks that the person who wins the championship is not going to win the race, because I think there's going to be so much competition that they're going to knock each other out or something. But there's just part of me that thinks it's a Larson day. I don't know. That may not be smart, but
destined.
Yeah. So Larson for the race, Larson for the win. But you can still You can still pick Larson for the championship, Bill, and pick somebody else for the race.
Or you could pick Sterling Marlin too. If you want to.
Also an excellent driver. He's an excellent. Yes, he's an excellent. Of course, everybody knows him as the famous NASCAR driver that never was given his chance. Carrie, if he'd have just been given his chance. Well, since Jen took my pick for the race, give me, what? Give me both of them. I'm gonna take my guy. Not only to win the race, but to win the championship as well. I was going to take Kyle Larson, but since Jen has stolen him from me, I tell you what, Denny Hamlin wins the race.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin wins the championship.
And real quick, I'd love, Carrie, your thoughts on what Hamlin pulled last weekend with Bowman.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of felt like that was sort of an icky move.
It was kind of, I think, kind of below the belt, so to speak. But it got people talking. It's a good carryover for off season. But I thought Hamlin, it was almost like, hey, Denny, why don't you take your ball and go sit in the corner somewhere?
Right.
Denny Hamlin wins the championship this weekend. I celebrate. And I think it'll be back-to-back championships for me because I am the king of NASCAR.
There was still an issue for the scoring last year. But anyway, we'll get on to that because we only have about 30 seconds left.
We will have, Carrie, I'd like to have you back next week to break everything down. We'll give you more time.
You know what? You said this is your favorite segment of the week, Bill. And you know what? Likewise, it is mine as well. And I look forward to talking to y'all next weekend. Look forward to pulling the Gamecocks through this weekend. I think they're going to get Florida. I think that Florida is ready to be gotten. So mark that one down too.
We will do it. We'll catch up with Kerry Tharp next week. Big thank you to Jen Jensen, Patrick Perrett. We'll be back tomorrow to do it again. Have a great day.
And that's a wrap.
That's it.
That's a wrap. Denny Hamlin. It's Travis. Oh, well.
I'm with you, Travis.
Nah.
Yeah. I think that was kind of a Bush League kind of move, which, Bill, do you even know what we're talking about as the guru? Yeah. So basically Hamlin was irritated because he thought Bowman kind of bumped him out, and it was racing. But when Bowman won the race, and Hamlin came up and kind of blocked him to try to keep him from doing like his burnouts and stuff like that, and they kind of got nose to nose, and it was stupid. It's like, just deal with it later. Let Bowman have his time. So
Anthony, nobody will beat me up. I still run semi-fast, and I'm small. I can fit into sewers and get away from people. Gotta know how to get away.
Fast until he pulls a
We're better. We're getting better. We're getting there. We'll find out a week from today when I play golf how things hold up.
There you go.
Patrick, safe travels back. We'll see everybody in the morning.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, be careful. Bye, Polly.